So, you were convicted of murder, right?
Yes.
And then you were sentenced to life in prison.
Life without possibility of parole. I got arrested, and all those guys that I thought that was my friend, my family, the other thing I hang out with, start lost communication, you call, they don't pick up and all that. Right? It was a scary, scary experience. But I have to act tough. Go to prison is the worst of society. Inmates in here, they live by code, they live by respect. Their rule is you don't see nothing, you don't hear nothing.
But don't snitch.
Don't snitch. Number 2 is if it don't belong to you, don't touch it. And number 3, the most important one, they said, do not go disrespect anybody. Number 4, do not let anybody disrespect you. I remember when they drove us from the county jail to prison, the sheriff said, okay, you arrive at your new house. They check you from everything, top to bottom, and that's when they give you a prisoner number. The CO, the correctional officer there told me, you remember your social security number? I said, yeah. I said, he said, forget about it. This is your new social security number. For the rest of your life, you will associate with this number. If you just put me in jail and not helping me while I'm in there, and some guy was not looking for help, and when you release me, I become worse. Now I'm able to hang out with all the criminal that can teach me all those bad things to do. I never thought in my life I witnessed all this hardcore gang member cry. Broke down in tears and we cried. My mom sitting on the couch and just started crying. Like, you know, and when they told her that what I'd been arrested for, and she was like shocked. Like, no, it's not my son. My son don't do that. You know, so the first time she came visit me, we just cried. I remember something she told me that stuck with me forever, and she like, I wish I can trade my life with you. I wish I can sit in that prison cell while you're out here enjoying your life. That hurt me so deep. The hardest news I ever heard, even worse than when I got convicted, sent to life without parole. When my friend come and told me that my mom was killed by a 19-year-old kid drunk driver, run away from the cop and ran over her car and killed her instantly.
19?
Exactly the age. The kid committed the crime exactly the age that was one of the most awakening for me to realize how stupid I was. All this time, I do all this thing crazy on the street just to have somebody else approval. When the only person I should get approval is my mom. I spend all the money that I have just buying drugs, using drugs. I want to die as an OD. I want to use so much drug that I can just get. So many nights I didn't sleep, I stayed up, you know, I didn't pass out. And constantly thinking about what's the best way to die? What's the point of living? This is the dog that nobody wanted, right? People throw them away. But now we train them. They know all this command, they behave a dog. A lot of people want to adopt them, all because the dog is chained. And it just make me realize, like, I'm no different than that dog. I was crazy. I was hurting people. And the society threw me away and put me in that prison. If I changed my life to become better, maybe someday somebody want to adopt it and bring me home.
What makes you upset now? And are you still facing any demon?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of demon that's there. Because, you know, after I get out of prison, it's all good time. No, it's not. You know, I went in when I was 19.
Right.
I get out when I was 43. I never had to pay bill in my life before I went in. I never know anything. Now I have to be a grown up. I have to start building a life for me.
Right.
As a convicted felon, as a convicted murderer, with nothing. Man, I want to go back in. It's too hard out here.
Sơn Lê xin kính chào tất cả quý vị khán thính giả. Kính thưa quý vị, trước khi mà đi vào talk show ngày hôm nay, Sơn muốn gửi một lời cảm ơn đến tất cả quý vị khán thính giả đã ủng hộ cho chương trình trong suốt khoảng thời gian vừa qua. Sơn không thể nào ngờ được mới đó mà đã được gần 1 năm trời rồi, kể từ ngày đầu tiên mà quý vị đồng hành cùng Sơn trên cuộc phiêu lưu này. Mục đích của chương trình, như quý vị biết đó, là chúng ta có thể nghe được nhiều câu chuyện khác nhau, và qua đó chúng ta có thể cảm thông, thấu hiểu và cùng nhau xây dựng một cộng đồng ngày càng lớn mạnh. Cho nên nếu đây là lần đầu tiên quý vị xem chương trình này, Sơn mong là quý vị hãy bấm nút subscribe để ủng hộ cho chương trình. Sơn cũng cảm thấy rất là vui khi mà nhận được những lời khen ngợi của quý vị, cũng như là những lời đóng góp xây dựng để cho chương trình mỗi ngày một tốt hơn. Sơn cảm ơn quý vị rất nhiều. Và bây giờ chúng ta hãy bước vào chương trình ngày hôm nay. Xin chào anh Hưng. Cảm ơn anh đã đến với talk show ngày hôm nay. Phải nói đây là một cái talk show rất là đặc biệt. Tại vì Sean chưa bao giờ phỏng vấn một khách mời mà có cái câu chuyện đặc biệt như là câu chuyện của anh. Cho nên là trước ân hết, một lần nữa cảm ơn anh đã đến với talk show. Và anh có thể nói với những vị khán giả mà bấm vào xem cái chương trình này đó, khi mà xem từ đầu đến cuối thì họ sẽ rút ra được điều gì không nào?
Chào Sean, chào tất cả khán giả của đài của Sean. Cũng rất hân hạnh được gặp Sean hôm nay và kể cái câu chuyện của mình hôm nay. Cái câu chuyện của mình hôm nay mình muốn kể cho mọi người nghe về cuộc đời của mình, những gì mình đã trải qua để có thể mình giúp được những em nhỏ, những em tuổi teenager hay là young adult đừng có vào cái con đường sai lầm giống như mình, trải qua những chuyện mà mình đã đi qua. Thì hy vọng sau khi nghe cái câu chuyện của mình hôm nay, các em có thể học hỏi thêm được những gì để đừng bước vào con đường sai lầm của mình.
Rất là hay. Sean biết là anh qua đây từ nhỏ và Sean đã nghe anh kể chuyện ở ngoài rồi. Và hình như là anh cảm thấy thoải mái hơn khi mà anh nói tiếng Anh đúng không ạ?
Yeah, thì mình comfortable nói tiếng Anh hơn, với lại nhiều cái thích mình giải thích thì bằng tiếng Anh có thể dễ hơn. Với lại chương trình hôm nay mình cũng muốn đa số cho các em nhỏ tuổi teenager hay tuổi young adult nghe được cái chương trình này để học hỏi thêm. Vậy mình nghĩ nên mình nói bằng tiếng Anh có thể các em sẽ hiểu nhiều hơn. Với lại mình giải thích cho mấy em để mấy em có thể hiểu về cái câu chuyện mình nhiều hơn bằng tiếng Việt.
Ok, excellent. Nếu mà như vậy thì trong chương trình này chúng ta sẽ nói tiếng Anh trước cho các em nhỏ, chủ yếu là các bạn trẻ nghe được. Và sau đó thì chúng ta sẽ nói tiếng Việt cho những vị lớn tuổi nghe thêm. Những phụ huynh của các em. Okay, all right, let's do it. All right, Brother Hưng, you have a very unique story, very special story. And to say that what you went through, you know, all of the crazy things that you went through, and to say that it was crazy is, to me, is an understatement. So you were convicted of murder, right?
Yes.
And then you were sentenced to life in prison.
Life without possibility of parole. That is two different sentences. There was one with life with possibility of parole, which means there's an opportunity you can go home. And life without possibility of parole basically is not a death sentence, but it's death by incarceration. Which means you will die in prison no matter what. That's why I was sent under life without a possibility of parole.
Okay. But after 23 years, because of a good record and because you're doing something excellent in prison and you were commuted.
Yes.
Right? So they let you go home after 23 years. So tell us about your story from the beginning.
Well, my story is very similar with a lot of young people's story. Come over here is in the early 90s or late 80s. I came to the United States in 1992 when I was 14 years old. And just like any teenager, I came over here without speaking any words of English, anything. It's very hard for me to land in. You know, school is for me, is one of the miserable time at that time. Because you go to school where you don't speak any English, you don't be able to learn anything, you got teased a lot. You got picked on, you got bullied, and at that time, the racism is very high. You know, a lot of us experienced that. So just 1 year after I came to this country, I get into a fight at schools in high school, just like anybody with a group of Mexican student. You know, I got beat up, I got jumped on and everything. So after that, there was a group of Vietnamese friends at school at that time. They offered to help me, right? And I don't even know who they are, you know, and they just like, look, we're going to help you. We're going to retaliate for you. At that time, I just wanted retaliation. You know, I just want the guy to hurt me to get hurt. So I agreed to it.
And they're Vietnamese?
They're Vietnamese. They're all Vietnamese. And
at least they look like you and they speak your language.
They speak my language. They said, we need to stick together. There's, you know, this. And I agreed to it. And the following day, I got kicked out of school got beat up by a bunch of rules because I was, you know, bringing in a nunchuck, you know, like what they call the nunchuck that would use, Bruce Lee was used back then, and we would idolize them and wanted to use it. So because I just bring in a weapon in school, I got kicked out of school. So there's a group of guys that come the next day, they picked me up from home, drove me to the parking lot, and just told me to sit in the car and just watch. I don't have to do anything. All right, so I'm sitting in there, and I see them guys that beat me up the day before coming out. Just a group of Vietnamese guys just rushed them. Some other Cambodian too, Vietnamese Cambodians, just rushed them and just beat up those guys. I just feel joy. I feel happy. I'm like, man, this is cool. This is, you know, kind of like a families or like a thing I've been looking for. somebody that protected me, understand me. And after that, they just act like normal. They didn't tell me that I own them, that I have to join their gang or anything. I volunteer. I want to hang out with them. I want to be around them because I feel like, I have protection knowing those guys, to hang out with those guys. So that's how it started, that I start hanging out with a lot of, bad people, gang member, and I had to join them. They never pressure me to join gang. They never, tell me you need to join us or you can't hang out with us. They never do that. I just volunteer to join them. I want to join them. So join gang, you have to do activity that they do, right? Stealing, breaking in car, fighting, it's a group, another gang that consider rivalry, you have to fight them. If you see them anywhere, you have to fight them.
Was there any pressure? Because where was your family?
My mom is a single mom. She came over here, it's in 89 and sponsored for me and my brother. She's a single mom, so she's constantly working. So a lot of time after school, coming home, it's just me and my brother. And my baby sister, we have the same mom, different dad, and, it's just three of us at home. Sometimes it can be really boring. As a young kid, I don't understand why my mom have to work so hard, and don't spend any time with us. But now growing up, I understand, like, she have to take care of us. There was three kids she had to feed and put the roof over our head. And, that time I don't understand that. So she don't really have time to pay attention on us. She come home late at night, go to work early, spend no time at work. So for me, it's just going out all day until I get home before she get home from work. And just hanging out with the guy, like I said earlier. We did all this illegal activity, fighting, everything you can name up.
Dad wasn't around?
No, my dad wasn't around. My dad was passed when I was a little kid. So hanging with them, you want to prove your status that you belong. You want them to respect you. You want them to earn their respect. You want them to know that you are part of them, right? So whatever you do, you have to do it and try to do it better. Like what I say, try to do it better is like you have to do something that they say, wow, don't mess with him. He can hurt you. He could kill you or anything. So it been part of it for years. I live like a double life and my mom don't even know.
Wow.
Morning I go to school. I go to church every weekend. I, involved in all the church activities and everything. But, at school, when I go to different school, I hang out with gang members, doing all the crazy illegal activity, fighting. I've been shot at. I've been beat up. I've been stabbed at. I mean, like,
how old were you?
I was 15, 16, 17 at that time. Like,
wow.
All day. I've been shot at multiple times. Lucky I didn't get hit. But at that time, we didn't even think that our life was in danger. When I tell my friend, I would just laugh it off, like, oh, they couldn't get me. They were like a fun thing, right? So that's another thing that we trying to go find people to hurt them, the rival gang, just to earn our status, right? Just to show like we're not somebody we'll be messing with, right? So, doing that constantly, continuously for a few years. And I was fortunate to get away with a lot of stuff. A lot of
How often did you get in trouble in high school?
A lot. I got kicked out of like 3 different schools, high school.
3 different high school?
3 different high school, yeah.
Wow.
I got 3 different high school, even though when I graduated from high school, I don't know how, because I barely sold up for school. And when I sold up to school, I didn't even study. Right? So, surprisingly, a lot of guys in gang, they're very smart. They're very good students. Right? That's why I can see why a lot of parents don't even know their kid was going the wrong way, because their schoolwork is good, they bring home the good grade, but they live in a dark lives on the side that their parents don't even know about.
But for you, I mean, getting into trouble a lot and then have to change 3 different schools.
Yeah.
Did your mom see the sign? Did she realize that, oh, my son is somehow in trouble?
Yeah, she did. She's like, why you got kicked out of schools? And I keep telling them, look, man, them guys, I won't make up story, excuse. I'll get into a fight because they pick on me. Yes, the first time they did, but after that, I think a lot of time I was initiated those fight or no trouble.
Right.
Right. And I keep using the excuse that they pick on me to have to fight back. Right. So I got kicked out of so many schools. And my mom kind of know, but she didn't, no mother ever thought your son could be a gang member or could be somebody dangerous in society.
Right.
Right. Everybody thought that kid is a good kid.
Right.
Right. Especially I'm go to church every week, I involve in church activities and all that stuff. So a lot of time, mom thinking like just teenager being a teenager.
And she got a handful on her.
She got a handful on her plate, and she had work, and for a single mom, and she don't speak English that good. So most of the time she work in the restaurant industry, that now everything that normal Vietnamese mom would do. So we just living our life, and that until like 4 or 5 years in, and it just nothing was for me at that time, and nothing was like different. It's just a normal life for me. Even though I can go out to the street one day and just be shot at and don't know why, but somebody recognized me on my car at that time and shot at me. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just normal. We didn't know how dangerous our lives is. And, my life started like one night at 1 a.m. in the morning. The same thing, my friend called me and said, hey, we're at the pool hall. There was a group of guys here that a rival gang. They're from L.A. I think, we need you to back us up. Come out here and help us. And without even hesitation at 1:30 in the morning, I put my clothes on, get in my car, and drove out there. When we go out there, I didn't even know who those guys is. The guy I have no idea who that is. They said, that's them over there. So I'm like, okay, what you guys want to do? We said, look, we're going to follow him. We're going to shoot him. Like a normal thing for us. Right now, looking back, it's just how stupid we was, right? That's what we did. We followed them, and we shot at them. One of them was in the car, was killed. An innocent bystander in the car, they're not even a gang member, that just happened to hang out with them, right? And ended up got killed. Not even a gang member that got killed. So we get away with it. We go home, we just act like it's normal. It's just another day. We start them on the news. We're like, oh, cool. We make the news, right? We get away with it, and we thought it was normal.
Wait, you saw yourself on the news?
Not us, but the incident. What happened on the news.
You saw it on TV?
Yeah, I saw it on TV.
Wow.
They looking for the car similar to us. We know about like.
Were you scared? Tại Precious Implant Dental Studio, chúng tôi chuyên về cấy ghép răng chất lượng cao với dịch vụ chăm sóc chuyên nghiệp sẽ giúp cho quý vị có một hàm răng chắc, khỏe và đẹp, giá cả phải chăng. Chúng tôi sử dụng thiết bị mới nhất và Zimmer Dental Implant để có kết quả tốt nhất, đáng tin cậy. Chúng tôi cũng cung cấp dịch vụ trong vòng 24 giờ cho những bệnh nhân ở xa, có sắp xếp đưa đón và chỗ ở. Quý vị hãy liên lạc số điện thoại 949 629 0103 949 629 0103. Một nhà tài trợ nữa cho chương trình ngày hôm nay đó là Văn phòng Quốc tịch Mỹ. Văn phòng Quốc tịch Mỹ cam kết giúp người già, người bệnh không cần thi vẫn được quốc tịch, tù tội vẫn được quốc tịch Mỹ. Văn phòng Quốc tịch Mỹ nằm bên trong chợ Sài Gòn Supermarket. Điện thoại 714 756 0946.
At that time, no. At that time, we're like, okay, cool. Like, we make our status. We're like, and later on when we find out that the person that was killed is not a gang member, we kind of like, oh man, like, we killed the wrong person, right? So we thought we'd get away with it. We shot it and like, okay, it's just 3 of us. Nobody know about this. Just keep it between us, right? And just go on with our life. But like 2-3 days later, one of the guys that with us, he was on drugs, he was high, he was paranoid, he's scared, so he turned himself to the police station, right? And tell them, like, hey, I know about this shooting, I know about this murder, I want to confess to the crime. Because he was scared because on the news they would say they were looking for his car. Right?
So that was his car that you guys were in.
So he was going there and he just put everything on me, like just everything on me and my friend and other friend. It's just like, we planted it, we like everything. He just lied to get out of his, not participating in it. So he making the following day, they come and arrested me. I was still sleeping like 6 o'clock in the morning. They break down the door. They come in, my mom was at home and say, have him go to work. My brother was just left to work and they pull over in the middle of the street and searching his car, come in, break my door down, arrested me, handcuffed me, escort. That was the first time I've been arrested. That was crazy. Like,
it's the first time all that?
Everything. This is the first time I've been arrested or anything.
And how were you? How old were you at that
19.
Time? You were 19.
I was 19. Yeah, that was 19. So, they arrested me. They took me out. On my way out, I saw something that really broke my heart. My mom sitting in the car and just started crying. Like, and when they told her that what I'd been arrested for, and she was like shocked. Like, no, it's not my son. My son don't do that. So I got arrested. I go in there and, just like anybody, we just deny our involvement. Like, I don't want to, I'm so ashamed of what I did. Like, you can't even admit to it. I have nothing to do with it. I was just there, and all that story, right? And it was so ashamed of it. And I put my mom through a lot of stuff.
So that was the first time that she knew you were in the gang?
Yeah.
Before that, she had no idea?
She had no idea, right? That's the first time she know that I was deep in the gang, and she like, how this happened? Like, why this happened? Like, how did I didn't know? Like, and she stopped blaming herself more than blaming me. That even broke my heart even more.
Right.
A lot of time at that time, I thought I was young adult. I know everything. I'm like, okay, it's my life. Whatever I do, it affected me. Don't affect nobody else. I was so wrong. My family was suffering more than I did. For me, it is, right? So she's basically empty out her saving of everything, trying to get me an attorney because they were looking to give me a death penalty.
Wow.
Right? It was over the newspaper that they was seeking the death penalty for me and my friend because at that time in the 90s, they was really tough on the Asian gang. Because our Vietnamese community at that time was that rising, a lot of gang member, a lot of activity. So they was looking at death penalty, to give us a death penalty to basically to make a statement, to make an example out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was so heartbroken. And, before that, I was just like, I thought my mom didn't care about me. I thought she didn't love me or she cared about working, do all the stuff, like. She left when I was a kid in Vietnam. I was a little kid and she had, go one of the boat people. Right, and she left me and my brother behind. So I thought like she would never care about us. She just wanted a better life for hers and all that. But now growing up, I know that all the steps she have to do to give us a better life.
Right.
So
did you guys get here by a boat?
No, we get here by a plane.
Okay.
That's all. She came over here in '89 and she sponsored for us to come.
But she attempted to go by boat before.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah, okay. And she go by herself. She go with her a couple of times and got arrested, and she go by herself and successful, made it.
Yeah.
And when I was arrested, it's just so ashamed, right? Put my mom through all that, and every day all she do is cry. And
had the other guy didn't go to the police, do you think that they would have known? They would have found out?
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know.
Because there was nobody else at the scene at that point.
Even though the people that we shot at, they have no idea who we are. Right? They even told police we don't know them, we never met them and everything. But that's just how dangerous the gang is. Right? You've been shot by people you don't even know because the gang that you was hanging out with is the enemy of the gang that don't like you. Just take one or two person to recognize you.
Right.
Right? And kill you. Or you hang out with gang member, that's the same thing. Right? When you hang out with them, the other gang would assuming that you belong to that gang.
Of course.
Right? And try to, kill you too. So yeah, no, it wasn't that. It's nobody knowing and God know all the crazy thing. I want to deeply get into it. Right? So I got arrested, and all those guys that I thought that was my friend, my family, the other thing I hang out with, it just slowly disappeared. I don't know them. Like they just, start lost communication. You call, they don't pick up and all that. So at the end of the day, the only person that's still by my side is my mom and my family.
Wow.
And a couple of the close friends I have that in church, the church group I was in.
What about the other two guys that were with you? Did they get arrested too?
One of them got arrested. The guy that turned himself in, they released him after 6 months because he fully cooperated. Because without him, there was no case. And he puts everything on us, so he make him look like an innocent.
They made a deal with him.
Yeah, he make a deal with him.
After 6 months, he was out.
Less than 6 months, about 6 months, less than 6 months, and they just released him.
And the other guy?
He got arrested with me, and he got convicted. And both of us got convicted. They said the reason they didn't give us the death penalty because we were too young. We was 19. So at Merciful, they give us the life without parole sentence. To me, that's another death sentence.
It is.
Yeah, because life without parole is basically you would spend the rest of your lives in prison until you die. No matter how much you change, no matter how good you become and everything.
Can you appeal?
We found all the appeal and we lost. You can appeal all the decision and we lost all the appeal, right? And by Merciful, they give me the life without parole rather than give me the death penalty, And I came to prison when I was like 21, right? It was a scary, scary experience. But I have to act tough. Go to prison is the worst of society. You see them on TV, you heard about it, and for me, never been arrested, never spent a days in jail, never, been into the situation, heard about prison, it scared me. But I have to get tough. you know, and not try to get people see your weakness, right? Because in prison, if they see you weak, they will pick on you, they will bully you, they will hurt you, they will rape you, right? A lot of things can happen when you're weak. So for me, it's my, you know, it's my welcome to prison moment. How we tell everybody is like, I remember when they drove us from the county jail to prison, about 5-hour drive. There was the cold December 15, I remember, of 1999. They drove her up there. And I remember the sheriff said, okay, you arrived at your new house. Okay, now take off all your clothes and put it in the trash can and walk in there. Right, so I strip all my clothes down to my boxer and put them there. It's like, are you freaking deaf? I said, all your clothes.
Wow.
So I have to strip naked. It's so humiliating. So naked in the wintertime, it's cold, it's freezing. And I walk in there with 300 other men lining up for them to do cavity check. They check you from everything, top to bottom, everything, cavity check. And that's when they give you a prisoner number. They call it CDCR number, California Department of Correction number. Right? I remember the CO, the correctional officer there told me, you remember your social security number? I said, yeah. I said, forget. He said, forget about it. This is your new social security number. For the rest of your life, you will associate with this number. I'm like, wow.
Damn.
So that was like a welcome to prison moment. And I remember that night when they put me in the cell all by myself, like a 6x12, empty concrete cell, cold, freezing, you know. And that's the first time in my life that I really broke down and cried nonstop. But I was scared, I was terrified, I was everything, right? But the next morning, I have to wipe all that tear up and put on a great face on, walk outside to all the other prisoners.
Had you ever heard any stories about being in prison before that?
Of course. When I was in the county jail, a lot of guys were telling me, God gave me advice how to survive in prison. Because I'm not going home, so not how to go home in prison, how to survive in prison, right? It's the same thing when I come to prison, you know. The one thing that always told me is do not show them that you're weak. Do not show them that you can be picked on, can be bullied. Because that happened, it will make your prison life miserable.
Right.
Right. So when you get to prison, you have to automatically become a gang if you wanted to. You have to join it. The prison in California are very segregated. Right? Black, white, Mexican, and Asian. Right? If you're not black, you're not white, you're not Mexican, they put you in a group. It's called other. So we're Asian. You have to belong to that group. You have to join that group because if you tell them, I don't want to associate with you guys, I don't want to be by myself, you just make your prison life more miserable because more guys are going to pick on you because they know that nobody's going to back you up, nobody's going to help you when things happen. So you automatically have to join a gang, prison gang, to survive, to lean on each other. Right, to lean on each other, to protect each other. Even though Asian, we in prison with the smallest population in there, probably between 3 to 5% of Asian population in prison. So we're smallest group, so we have to be more tightening, more together. That's how my first prison is. Like I come up and I have to act tough. I have to I'm not scared. I'm like, what's going on here? How we do?
Did you go in there by yourself, or was the other partner?
My other partner was also got transferred there with me.
Oh.
You know, this is his first time in prison too.
So at least you have a buddy.
Yeah, we have somebody, a buddy, okay. Right? So we go out there, same thing. They give us the rundown about prison, what prison was like. You know, is every race been separate. You know, the Asian showers over here, the table that we hang out over here. We play a recreation like basketball and everything over here, and everybody was separated, right? And older guy were telling us like, wherever you go, you always have somebody with you. Because the prison riot can break out at any time. You can be attacked at any time. Always have somebody to protect you. And they teach you how to make knife, how to make weapon, how to hide them, all that stuff.
Have you seen any riots broke out?
Oh, I participated in 2 of them, and I saw many of them.
Wow.
Right? Riots in prison is a very, very scary place. Because, like I said earlier, Asian is about 3 to 5% population. So, for example, we get into a riot with the black population. There's about 200 of them versus like 20 of us.
And they're huge.
And they're huge. Right? That's why you got to have weapon. You got to get weapon. You got to stab them and run. Stab and run. Like, don't let them catch you. Don't let them fall down. Not only we have to fight them, there's cops shooting tear gas at you and real bullets at you. So you have to duck the tear gas. You have to duck the bullets while you're fighting somebody a lot bigger than you.
Right.
So that's why we always have to stick together. We all have to band it together.
How often does it happen?
For Asian, for us, not that often. But for Mexican or black or white, it happens to them a lot. Because in
Wow.
prison, like I said, you automatically join the gang, regardless you want it or not. So, if, for example, if one Asian inmate would go disrespect a white inmate or Mexican inmate, they will attack all of us.
No matter what.
No matter
don't
what,
care.
right? They don't care because they're one of us, right? A lot of time they would come and tell us if we have the right so-called leader or shot callers in prison, they will come and tell the Asian and say, hey, your friend right there disrespected me. Either you guys will take care of it or we will, right? When they say take care of it, women will have to stab him, we have to hurt him really bad for them to satisfy that we take care of it. If we barely touch him, they're like, that's not enough. I'm going to attack all of you guys. So that's how, when I was in prison, I realized how stupid gang was for me, right? When we're on the street, we're looking to killing each other because they're from the rival gang. But now we're in prison, we're close, we become brothers, we got each other back. That's why a lot of us, that's when we realized like how stupid we was. Like we're out here hating on each other for no reason. Just because he hang out with different gang that we don't like, we try to kill him. But now in here, we become brother. My street rival gang member become my best friend, my brother that will got my back, would take care of me or jump in and help me when things go down. So that's like a lot of us that grow up in prison, I say grow up in prison, 'cause a lot of them come in there 16, 17, 18, 19, that understand the gang lifestyle.
So what was the biggest reason why someone would want to join a gang?
You know, at all time, it's just peer pressure and just want to be cool. You want to be somebody, right? There's a lot of guys have different story. You know, like I just told you mine, just more the peer pressure, looking for a validation from a family that they thought they were family, right? So that's when they join or some protection or something just cool that they don't understand.
You think
Right.
ego was a part of it?
Ego is a lot of it, right? So a lot of us in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s and there's a lot of racism going on in Orange County.
Right.
And we all experience it.
Right.
So a lot of same thing. All of Asian of us, we stick together. We start protecting each other, defend, one another. And that thing we know, we start hating each other, right? So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why guys join gang, because a lot of time is when I was in there, I talked to a lot of guys in there, and we all have similar story. You know, our parent was an immigrant over here from Vietnam. We came over here without speaking English. Our parents were working nonstop, not pay attention to us and everything we do. So a lot of us is join gang
Yeah.
for validation, for ego, for all that stuff. And some of them with childhood trauma. Some of them was, being abused, been beat up a lot when they was a kid and everything. So they make them join. They don't want to feel that weak, that little boy that got hurt all the time.
Right.
They want to be a powerful people, right? So that's why I shared is in prison. That's why all of us realized how gang was stupid for us, right? We're looking to kill each other for no reason.
And maybe being accepted is, one of the reasons too.
Yeah.
Because I remember, back in my days when I was in high school, lucky for me, we have a good family structure. We have mom and dad. Even though mom and dad didn't even speak any English, she was busy too, working all the time. She had no time talking to us. But we still have siblings and we have aunts and uncles. We have a large family in Minnesota. But we still get in trouble in high school, I remember like the last time I went back, just recently, like in December, I went back and one of my old classmates, he just got released out of prison after 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was sitting there and I listened to the story and I thought to myself, I could have gone with him too,
Yes.
Like it's funny when we make a turn in our lives, it's just a simple step and we're making a stupid decision. When we
Yes.
make that decision, we have to live with it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to, because I know when you got there in prison, you were shocked, you have to make friends, you have to join another gang. But how long did it take you to fully assimilate into the prison lifestyle?
Well, it took me about 3 to 4 years to get used to with the prison system, the prison lifestyle. They're called institutionalized, right? Because in prison they have rule. They have the staff rule, the cop rule, and they have inmate rule. Right? I remember when I come from prison, the older guy told me all the rule that the cops give you, and you can break every single one of them. The worst they can do is to put you in segregation. But the inmate rule, if you broke them, you will get killed. right? Imagine here they live by code, they live by respect. Their rule is you don't see nothing, you don't hear nothing. Right? If you could witness somebody got killed, somebody got stabbed, and they ask you, I don't see nothing, I don't know nothing.
So don't snitch.
Don't snitch. That's the number one rules in prison. They don't snitch. You snitch, you get killed.
Wow.
Right? And snitch get stitches, they can count there. And number two is, if it don't belong to you, don't touch it. You can go out to the prison yard or the day room where we hang out or watch TV. You see a cup or anything sitting on the table. You're like, oh, there's nobody here. I take it. If somebody saw you, you will get killed for that.
Damn.
So if you don't belong to you, don't touch it. And number three, the most important one, they said, do not go disrespect anybody. Doesn't matter who, right? You disrespecting them, there are going to be consequences. And number four, do not let anybody disrespecting you. Because especially for Asian is like, if they're disrespecting you, they're going to disrespecting me, they're going to do every single one of us. So the first person disrespecting you, you have to do something immediately, especially a different race, right? So a lot of time we will go tell the shot caller or the leader, like, hey, you guys disrespecting me, this and that, right? So a lot of time it's obvious they will take care of it, but they feel like that personal issue, like, you know what? The two guys don't like each other and let them go into the cell and just fight it out. Right, so you have to learn all the rules to survive. For me, me at that time, it's just how to survive, not how to live.
That's scary.
Yeah,
because if somebody, if another guy attack you and kill you, well, he's already have a life sentence.
Exactly.
What worse can he get? Right?
What can he get? Exactly.
Another
same thing
life.
for us. The same thing for us. Like same thing. They know that I got like without parole, I have nothing to lose. Right. It's a curse, but also some of the blessing in there because they're like, oh, that guy got like without parole.
You don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, he can kill you, and nothing will happen to you.
Damn.
Right. So it go both way. Right. So it took me 3-4 years ago in there, but you know the only reason to keep me pushing up is my mom and my family, the people that love me, that push me like, don't give up, keep your hope alive and stay hope. You know and. Miracle happen, anything happen. My mom is very devout Catholic. So she believed in God and everything. She raised me as Catholic. So she always talked to me about don't give up hope and everything.
What was it like the first time? Walk me through the first time when she visited you.
Ooh, man, that was, I still got a picture. First time she come visit me in person. This is the first time I can touch her and hug her for the first time in like 2 years.
Yeah.
She my arrest the first time I hug her.
In 2 years?
In 2 years.
That was the first meeting?
The first time. I be able to touch her. In a county jail, you visit through a glass.
Right.
You can talk to her on the phone, but you see each other through the glass. But I cannot physically touch her or hug her. So the first time she came visit me, that time my little sister was only like 7 or 8 years old. And we just cry, you know. And I remember something she told me that stuck with me forever. And she like, I wish I can trade my life with you. I wish I can sit in that prison cell while you're out here enjoying your life. That hurt me so deep. Right? All this year, I thought like, man, my mom don't care about me. I was a kid, working, make money. So that is like the first time I see her, and she's like, it's like 3-hour drive from my house to visit me. She's like, I'll come to see you more. And she always encouraged me to have faith and hope. But yeah, the first visit, they were like, we just sit there quiet most of the time. Right? And I try to be brave in front of all the inmates and like, you know, I'm good, but inside I was dying.
Damn.
And so that happened, and that was one of the most awakening for me to realize how stupid I was. You know, all this time, I do all this thing crazy on the street just to have somebody else approval. When the only person I should get approval is my mom, who loved me, who cared for me. That's why I want to do this interview, to share it with all the teenager or the young adult out there that, you know, the only person you need to approve of how you live your life is your parent. You know, listen to them, communicate with them, talk to them, but you have anything. So yeah, that first visit was a good one, but also the most memorable one.
So she told you not to give up. So obviously she got some hope left.
Of course, you know, at the mom, she at the devoted Catholic or religious person, she always have some hope. You know, and
based on what?
You know how in religion we always say that miracle happen every day. You could be one of them. Just have faith in God, have hope. And you know that honestly, at that time, hope is all I have left. My sentence is dies in prison. My appeals have been denied. Everything has been rejected. The only thing I have left to live for is hope. right?
But she
and my
never
mom.
gave up. She always think that
She
there's
always
one
give
day
up.
that you're
Yes,
going to be released.
She always never give up. She
Wow.
always told me, never give up. One day that you will be released. You know, one day thing gonna happen. Everything could happen, and just do good. Never give up. And I just like, yes, mom. But you know there's gonna be a tough road down ahead. You know, I was
Right.
like 22, 23 at that time, so I mature a little bit more. And 6 years into my prison sentence, you know, the hardest thing I ever heard, even worse than when I got convicted, sent to life without parole, when my friend come and told me that my mom was killed by a drunk driver, by a 19-year-old kid drunk driver, run away from the cop and ran over her car and killed her instantly when she on her way home from work.
Exactly the age when you went to prison. 19.
Exactly the age. The kid committed the crime exactly the age that was the worst news I ever had. You know, even though when I got convicted, I got sent to prison, I accept that because there's something that I did, the consequence that I have to pay. But man, the only person that cared for me, that take care of me, and pushing me, now it take away from me. Right? So man, at that time was hard. I was like, basically just want to let go. You know, thinking about commit suicide. I don't want to live anymore. What the point of living? You know, stop believing in God. Like, what the point? If God was exist, why he let this happen? It's okay to happen to me because I did it. My mom had nothing to do with anything. You know, she's a good person. Why bad thing happened to good? So a lot of things happen in your head. You know, 5-state degree, like you was in denial that never happened. You would start angry. You start make peace with yourselves and all that stuff. But like for me at that time was the worst moment. You know, I was like a zombie. And I just looking to hurt somebody, right? At that time, I just hoped that somebody say something to me disrespectful in any kind of way so I can hurt them. I don't care if I got killed anymore. I don't want to live.
You want to release that anger.
I want to release that anger. That's when I learned that hurt people want to hurt other people, right? That's why a lot of times we see guys committing a horrid crime. We wonder why they did it. In that situation, I can understand why. But the pain was so unimaginable, pain that you just want to release your anger with violence to hurt somebody, to have somebody feel the same pain that you going through at that moment, you know? And I thought turning to drug, yes, they have drug in prison. They have drug in prison. They sell drug in prison with a very high price, right? As my fans start like, look, man,
people smuggle it in.
They more smuggle it in. You know, people make a living in prison on drug, selling drug. So my fans start giving me some and says, you just numb your pain. But I start using drug like constantly. I start spending all the money that I have just buying drugs, using drug. I want to die as that OD. I want to use so much drug that I can just dead.
Yeah.
Right? Or like do so many times I passed out. So many nights I didn't sleep. I stayed up. You know, I didn't pass out. And constantly thinking about what's the best way to die? What's the point of living? You know, you go kill somebody so they kill you, or you hurt the cops so they can shot you to death, or using all the drugs you OD to die. So I go through like years of depression, right? And the only thing at that time that keep me a little bit up is my little sister. She was 12 years old when my mom was killed. And every time I talk to her, and I'm like, man, you know, you gotta hang in there. And she was so young, she don't understand.
She came to see you?
Well, she couldn't, because my mom is dying. They have to have like she was minor, so I couldn't even see my little sister, the person that I was, you know, looking forward to see the most. And I go that over years, and in prison, when you go through depression, you go through suicidal thought. You can't share it with them. Because when you share it with the authorities in prison, tell them, look, I have suicide thought. What they do is they put him in the car suicide watch. Suicide watch is they put you in the room with the light on 24/7 and strip you basically naked.
What?
Like you have nothing to kill yourself with, and they're watching you 24/7. So if you tell them you have suicide thought, you just make your life more miserable. And every day they give you a paper tray for you to eat until you tell them you don't have a suicide thought no more. Until
they don't give you any counseling, any...
Oh, no, they don't. They give you medication, right? They call psych medication, but for me, it's just sleeping medication. Because you sleep, you can't kill yourself. Right? So even like, talk to them is not even an option. Tell them how you thought, how you feel, not even an option, because you just make it worse. But it's lucky for me at that time that I have a lot of guys in there that older and been there for a long time. They've been through that, counseling me. I tell me, look, I know you're at the worst moment in your life right now. I come here to tell you that, feel better, get over it, or none of that, right? They just tell me just stay away from people because right now your trigger is very short. You're gonna do a lot of things that you're gonna regret later on. You know, yes, your mom is gone, but you still have your little sister. Live for her, right? And be there for her if she needed. So that's why a lot of time that wake me up at that time, that the pain that I felt that hurt so bad that I can't imagine it can be worse. And I start every night I sit there and I say, yes, a lot of people can be worse. And I start thinking a person that got killed in my case. You know, as a child, we all expect to lose our parents someday, and it still hurt. But man, we took somebody's kids away from them. No parent should ever to bury their child to see the child dies, and we did that. So that's one is the most wake up reality for me. Like, oh man, what I did was like a monster, imaginable. Like, Jesus, who was I to be able to do some stuff like that? And that moment, don't even feel no sympathy, no remorse or nothing. You know, at that moment, that's when I feel the most remorseful, the most shameful that I did, because the pain I feel is so bad. I can't imagine the parent that lost their child felt. Right? At that time, it's like a thought in my head, like, look, man, I need to do better. Not for me, but in the honor of my mom. I'm trying to be like a role model for my little sister. Look, you know, I'm inside, I try to do good. Right? But in prison, you trying to do good, it's not easy. Because violence is all around you. Bullies all around you. You know, since I've been home, a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers ask me what prison is like. You know, and I normally answer to them in a very short term is prison is like high school, but 98% of them are bully. So your life will be worse if you don't tough, you're not strong. So you want to be a good inmate or be a good person, it's really hard. Right? You can't show your weakness. You can't show that you can be picked on or anything. So it's really hard. And I really want to change my life. I really want to do something good. You know, for that moment inside of me, I was like, look, I need to do something. I need to change my life. I need to change the way I'm thinking, the way I'm acting, everything in my life. Not for me, but honor my mom. I never thought I'll go home anyway. I'll be a role model for my sister. So I signed up to go to school. I take college class for my teacher, my sister. She become a teenager, go to high school. I'd be able to call her and talk to her a lot, communicate with her, and just to change my lives around. I never thought that was someday I'd be home. You know, at that time, I just want to become a better person in the honor of my mom, and do something good in my life just for one. You know, and I never thought that was something that eventually lead me home. You know, because in 2018, I remember Christmas Eve in 2018, I got a phone call from the governor's office, Governor Brown at that time, on Christmas Eve. And they told me that the governor had noticed my behavior for the past, 12 years, 13 years. My mom was past 2004, 2018, for like 14 years, like 12 years. My record is good. My behavior is good. I thought to go to college. I thought, stay out of trouble. I'm not getting too many more troubles in there. And I have a lot of staff recommendation for my sentence to be reduced. Right. They told the governor noticed that, and he was giving me a second chance by commuting my sentence from life without parole to a 25-year to life with the possibility of parole. Man, I never in my life was so happy to heard the word 25 years to life, because that was a nightmare for both people. You know, I reduced to 25 years to life and with good behavior. You know, and they said it's not doesn't mean I can walk out of that prison door right now. No, I have to go through the called a board of parole hearing. Right? It would mean is you're gonna have the commissioner, deputy commissioner, and psychiatric to evaluate you to see if you're ready for society, you change the way you're thinking. You know what you did it wrong and all those stuff. And I was in that hearing for like 3 hours, right, before they make a decision that the word they said is no longer a threat to society and allow me to go home.
You know, it's powerful. My takeaway is that when I hear you say that, you know, hurt people want to hurt other people, and we all have a wake up call, a wake up moment in our lives, right? And my wake up moment was when I saw my dad on his, you know, deathbed, and he was passing. And I asked him, "What do you want us to do? What is your last wish in life?" And he just said, "Just pray for me. That's all I want." You know, at that moment, and I realized, damn, dude, life is so short.
Yes.
You know, you just gotta take full advantage of it and live life to the fullest. You know, don't regret anything.
Yes.
And it's really touching to hear you said, you know, when you wake up call, your wake up moment in prison, and you know the moment when your mom passed away, and you have inmates in there comforting you. I figured that they would send some, you know, psychiatrist or psychologist in there to you know, give you counseling, but you were counseled, you were comforted by other inmates.
Yes.
So, you know, I see it as a human side of all. Yeah, they made mistake, you know,
Yes.
but talk to me about that, like the human side of people in prison.
Yes, definitely. You know, when we was in there, all the other inmates, I was sharing earlier that how we realized stupid we was. We're looking to kill each other on the street. Now it's in there, we become brother. We become best friend. We become brother to helping each other in a time of need. And those guys that been in there longer than I have, right? They've been through and they witnessed that they've been through what I'm going through. So they be able to give me the guidance, advice how to not to get in further trouble and regret that later on in life. You know, it become a brotherhood. And a lot of guys in there changed. You know, a lot of them in there is like they've been there long enough. They realize, they wake up, but they know that what we did on the street was stupid. You know, everything in there was stupid. And a lot of them, some of them is never going home. They just want to live a peaceful life. They don't want to live a violent life anymore. You know, some people never change, but I see a lot of people change. You know, those guys really come for me. They really help me. You know, a lot of them was like, they make sure I'm always in their sight. Make sure I don't do anything stupid. You know, of course, we're going to have a lot of stupid guys in there that say stupid things like, "Oh, man, see dead, nothing you can do about it, move on." Or, you know, any stupid thing that they say. But yeah, there is a lot of good brothers in there. That one of the things that I missed a lot about prison is the brotherhood. You know, and I'm home, it's like sometimes I think of those guys, I'm like, man, I wish they have a chance to go home like me. Because I know so many of them changed. So many of them have been in there for 20, 30, 40 years. They've been there since they was 17, 18, 19, 20. Now they're in their 50. Some about to go into their 60, and they're still in there. I know they changed so much. And the one of the thing I miss about prison is the brotherhood, the bond between us there that really look out for one another in a time of need. The human nature that when we put all the ego or the other thing aside, we're just regular people.
Right.
We help each other. We're comforting each other in a time of need. That's just something I really miss about a lot of guys.
It's interesting when you said the first time you cry was like 2 years after you were in prison. And, you know, I feel like it's part of the culture in this society. Like everybody, if you're a male, you want to be like an alpha male, right? You want to be tough. You want to be respected. So when you were in there and you see other guys, other alpha males, you know, they're in there, everybody want to be respected. So, but you broke down, cry. Have you seen other people cry?
Oh yeah. You know, I think for me is one of the more powerful moments I ever witnessed in prison. We was in the class together, the self-help class. You know, they call it a victim awareness, right? So we're in the class together because I have to take the class prepare for my parole hearing. So we'll be in the class with about 20, 30 other inmates. Some hardcore gang member. Some people been there for 15, 20, 30 years. Some of them that you can Google them, the name of crime of list is long. They gang leader on the street and everything.
The killers.
Yeah, they killer. They truly killer, right? So we were in that class together, and a lot of brothers start share their story. They're traumatized. They're going through at the kid. What make them become the person who did that kid? Some of them have been, you know, abused at the kid, molested, abandoned, everything.
Wow.
Right? And that's how they realize the same thing with me, that how realize that hurt people hurt other people. And one guy was sharing his story and he started crying because he relived the worst moment of his life when he was young, and he started crying. And every single one of us in that classroom, we broke out in tears. I never thought in my life I witnessed all this gang member, hardcore gang member, cry. Broke down in tears and we cried and we hug each other. And that's when we realized that our story very similar. Right? We all go through childhood traumas and everything we went through, and we're not sharing with everybody. We hold it in. We want to act up. We always have to put the hard face, the great face in to walk outside. So that moment for me is the most powerful moment I always remember. Like every single one in that classroom broke down in tears and cried. And I never thought that. You know, and I learned something too, is being vulnerable is a lot harder. Just something that you have to accept it to be crying to other people. That's not the weakness. That's one you have to be strong to be vulnerable in front of other people. It's easy for me to act up in front of other people. But now I know it's like being vulnerable with yourself in front of other people. That's one of the harder things. If you can do that, man, my hat off to you, my respect off to you, because you understand, you know, you don't care about what others think of you or judging you from the outside. Right? You be more vulnerable in front of other people. And that's something that we all have to do.
How did you learn to deal with anger?
Man, before, the only way we deal with anger is through violence. Right? And that's why all the class that I have to take to prepare for my parole hearing taught me a lot. How to deal with my anger, because anger is something that we all have. You know, anger is we call it a second emotion. Something happened to make us angry. For example, if I say something to you disrespectful, you feel disrespected before you feel angry. Or you lost a loved one, you feel sad and you feel angry. You didn't get this interview, you didn't get this job, you feel disappointed and you got angry. Right? So angry is something that we all have. It's just like happiness, just like any other emotion that we have. To deal with anger, we have to figure out what triggered us. If I know hanging out with a bad crowd that says stupid stuff that anger me, stop doing that. When you have a conversation with somebody that you know gonna say something that inappropriate or disrespectful or something, stop the conversation and go somewhere. Don't put yourself into a situation to get angry. Right? Even though when you get angry, you have to know to control yourself. You have to know what triggered you. Right? If somebody disrespected me, say something, I know that my anger is about to come. Within a moment, a minute or two. So what I do now, I remove myself from the environment. I go somewhere. Even when my anger start happening, I no longer is in the environment to do something stupid.
Yeah.
Right? And think up the positive. Think up the consequences of your anger. That's the difference between who I was and who I am now. You know, who I was, I just react. If somebody do something to me, I have to react and do something right back. But now I respond. You know, now if somebody do something to me, I have to think about it. What the consequences? If I hurt this person, what in it for me? I feel good for like 5-10 minutes. I might go back to jail. I might do other things. Like, you know, what you lost is a lot bigger than what you gained for 5 to 10 minutes of satisfaction. So yeah, you deal with anger is just identify what triggered you and remove yourself from the environment or from the people that make you angry. You know, that's why I like to hang out with positive people that encourage me to do better or to, you know, helping me to do better. I don't hang out with people that can make me angry or say things that can trigger me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good advice, because in the past I found myself getting angry very easily too. And then I quickly realized, maybe that I'm around people that make me upset too much, you know? So
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing is like we've been around with people upsetting us, or we talk to people upsetting us, the environment upsetting us, right? Because I don't know, now I learned that I talk to somebody within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I can know right away this person's gonna trigger me or not.
Right. And how do you build that longer, like that tolerance?
I think is credit to my prison environment and learning there and all the class that they taught me. That's why it's important for inmates to be in there to learn. while they was in there, right? To better yourself. You know, prison can make you worse, can make you better, but prison can make you worse.
Right.
That's why a lot of time people think like, oh, this guy do something bad, put him in prison, he will learn. Not really. A lot of you don't want to learn, you don't want to change, prison will make you worse.
Really?
Yes, because you will learn more bad thing in there. Right? You will learn more worse thing in prison. So that's why the percent of people return back to prison like 60 to 70%, right, when they get out. Because they're not learning anything in prison. Right? If you in there, take advantage of it. Right? And it's like a lot of times it's hard too, because in prison they make you work. Right? They make you go to work. Right? At the way of saying, oh, you have to pay back for your crimes, so you have to go work for like 8 cents an hour to 15 cents an hour. So when you work all day, you don't learn. For me, is I used to have a chance to go to the classroom, to learn from other inmates, to surround positive inmates that wanted to change like me, listen to their story, listen to the wisdom that they know. So I able to learn a lot from a lot of those guys. And I surround myself in prison with people like me that want to change, that want to be better, to learn from them.
Interesting. So how did you get your sentence reduced again? Obviously, you have to do a lot of work.
So I have basically, at that time, I have about 12 years of clean record. Clean record that you're not getting into any kind of write-up, any kind of discipline. I have 12-year clean records. I attend college class. I try to take college. I work for a facility captain. So I've been like his clerk, you know, tying up his paperwork, doing all the paper. I work for a facility captain. And for 12 years, I get in zero trouble. That is very hard to do is in prison. Because everything you do is in there, you can be written up. Like you go outside without having your IDs on you, you can be written up. Or you didn't turn on the light when they walk by to carry you, you can be written up. That's called trouble. Or you missed 1 day at work, you got written up for not going to work. So you always something to get you in trouble, and the violence is the main thing for them. Right? For 12 years, I didn't get into no fight, no violence or anything. So that is something that they look at and they say, wow, this guy that have nothing to live for, never gonna go home, why he do good for? People like him just get deep into trouble,
right? You
know, selling drugs, using drugs, gambling, do all that illegal thing in prison. But for me, it's lucky for me that I'm able to stay away from those, you know, with the goal that to honor my mom and just be like a role model for my sister, or be able to have a conversation with her. Right? I can't be a troublemaker in there and try to give her advice. Right? I take college classes, so encourage her to go to college and continue her college career, you know, and everything. So it's for me, it's just I don't want to call it coincidence, but it's also some luck to do with it. You know, it's like because the people that have the sentence reduced like me is less than 1%. Right? Very small number. Right? A very, very small number that got the sentence reduced or commuted. So very small, especially for people that got life without parole like me. So the number even smaller. So it is by luck, by hard work, by a lot of things combination, right? And luck, I said luck has something to do with it too, because a lot of guys in there that even have better record than me and they're still there. So sometimes I don't know why that I got it and he don't. You know, I don't know his story, but I said for me, a lot of combination for my sentence got reduced. And I have a lot of recommendation from prison staff too that they witnessed me. They saw me years in and years out.
Yeah,
I'm a changed person. So they write a letter of support and like, hey, you know, I've been witnessing him all this year. He's been doing good. If you guys could look at it, look at it. So yeah.
I mean, luck probably play a part in it, but you know, you can't disregard all of the hard work that you did.
No,
right?
That's what I say is you gotta do a lot of hard work. You have to earn it. First and foremost, you have to earn it.
Exactly.
I'm not denying it. I'm earning it. But I can see a lot of guys earning like me too didn't get it. That's why I put luck into it. Too, right? It's like, yeah, of course I have to earn it. It's not a giving. It's not just like they just pick randomly and just give it to you.
Yeah, I know the moment that your mom passed away really changed your life.
Yeah,
completely. You know, on top of that, you know, all the classes that you went through, you know, all the good people that you met in prison. But do you think like religion play any part in it too?
Of course. Faith is playing a big part in it, because like I said earlier, you gotta have faith. You have to believe in something that brought you home, right? Because all my appeals have been denied, everything has been denied. The only thing I'm looking at is dead in prison. No other possible way to get out of the prison. And in the 80, 90, all the way 2000 something, the governor do not grant anybody commutation. Then when I got my commutation, they said the last time that would happen was like in the early 1900s or something when the governor was mute, people said. Right, so that not even an option. Right, that was never an option. And that was Governor Brown. That was his last term in office. Right, that was his last term in office. He was not running for any political career. So he's, you know, I think Governor Brown, he's a devoted Catholic too. So in like Christmas or Easter, any Catholic holiday, he only grant a lot of pardon and commutation for people. So yeah, it's faith have a lot of things to do with it. You have to believe. You have to pray. You have to believe there's something, you know, just a little light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
Right? You have to like, that's the only thing you have left. For me at that time, the only thing I have left. Of course, I accept my fate that I will die in there, but in the back of my head is always, I hope miracle happen. I hope this happen. I hope this law will change. I hope like, you just hope something, right? Because the law, it change back and forth. From top on crime, from justice reform, back and forth, you just hope that something happen. And faith have everything to do with it. You got to have faith. Yeah. You have to believe in God, Buddhist, Allah, whatever religion you're in. Pray to. Because praying is sometimes is the most peaceful time that you have. Or meditation.
Right.
Right? To talk to somebody. To tell them all your problem, all your trouble, and pray for guidance. Right? A high power or whatever we believe in. So yeah, faith have a lot to do with it. That brought me home.
That's so powerful. Because, you know, you said after your mom passed away, you felt the anger and, you know, you were so hurt that you just want to hurt other people.
Yes.
And get hurt.
Yeah.
But then after a time of reflect and you thought about the person that, you know, the young kid that didn't make it and you felt guilty about it and you just want to turn your life around.
Yes.
Have you ever like prayed to God that, hey, you know what, if I get out of here, I will become a better person?
Oh, all the time. That's a promise I make to God. Like when I home, like, you know, if I ever have an opportunity to be home, I try to help the next person not to make the same mistake that I made. I'm trying to tell my story because a lot of us wouldn't tell our story. A lot of us would not because it's the dark story. You know, it's the painful story. Who want to relive the moment over and over again? So that is something that I actually make promise to God. Like, you know, if you ever let me home, I promise that I would share my life story to other kids, especially, you know, young kid, teenager kid, young adult, that may be a situation that me but don't understand it, don't see it yet. But a lot of time when we're in it, we didn't see it. Only somebody outside was saw it. Right? That's why one of the things I do a lot right now since I come home, I do a lot of public speaking, sharing with a lot of young teenagers, young adults, sharing with my life, my story. And you know, take any question from them, anything I can help. That's why one of my volunteer jobs right now that you go back into the prison system, the juvenile system, to mentoring kids and young adults. Right? One of the person I mentor right now was the 40-year-old guy. He been in there for like 23 years. He's there since he was 16.
Damn.
Right? And now he's got ready to come home. You know, I able to talk to him and explain it to him, you know, and he's understand what it's like to come out after being so many years in there and talk to juvenile hall kids in there, let them understand that, yes, right now you just get in like a minor trouble, but you keep going on this road, you will be end up like me someday, you know, sit in that prison cell and waiting to die. So I try to tell them, I try to advise them. They listen or not, I don't know. But I hope so. If I can save just one kid, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? So a lot of time, a lot of people would come and tell me, can you talk to my friend? Can you help my friend? Or can you talk to my nephew? Can you talk to my son? He in trouble. I'm like, I can't help him if he don't want to help himself. First and foremost, he want it to change. Right? If people don't want it to change, we can't force them. That's why I'm mentoring guys in jails and juvenile system when they asking to be a mentor. When they send a request to the judge and say, I need somebody to come talk to me. I need a mentor or something. Those guys, I love to help them because I know they're looking to change, but they don't know how. Because growing up in the gang lifestyle, we have a different belief system than normal people does. Right? We were taught to do anything to get respect, to earn our status on the gang life, to move our way up the ranking, the bad ranking, right? To believe in certain things that not that normal people will believe in. So if guy wanted to change and needed help, and I would volunteer to do that.
It's funny when you now think back, you don't know what you have until you lose it.
Oh, definitely.
And the guys that, flirting around with trouble, one day they really get in trouble, then they'll know. Like you've been there, done that, you got out, you know that I'm not going to make that same mistake again.
Yeah.
I after what I went through, right? So would you say that was the most powerful moment of your life when you had that wake-up call and you want to become a better person and you want to make a positive impact on somebody else's life? Would you say that was the most powerful
I think that's the most powerful moment. Is that's where I start making the right direction for the first time in my life. All the thing before that, I'm making the wrong decision, wrong choice, bad direction.
Yeah.
But for the loss of my mom, that wake me up, and I choose to make the right decision. And I can see better. I can see clearly, right? When you start making that right. Now when I'm coming home, I can see a lot of kids, young adult, teenagers or something, doing all this bad thing, go in that direction, and you try to come and talk to them and tell them, hey, gotta be. Now I know what I'm doing, right? They think that at the teenagers or young adult, they always think they're smarter than people. That's why even at the child, we always think are smarter than our parent, right? And number one thing, I was the one of those two, like, you don't know nothing. I know better, Our parents know better. Trust me when I say that.
Yeah.
When our parents tell us to do the right thing because they've been there, they saw that, and they tell us. But as a teenager, a lot of them, they didn't know that. They didn't see that. So it's a lot of times very sad, since I've been home, I see some guy that continued down that path. I know that going to eventually get him in trouble, but you can't help them if you don't help himself.
I know you spent a lot of time in prison thinking. Have you ever thought about the what if moment? Like, what if you, growing up, you had a mentor who showed you the way? What if you talk to your mom more? Tell her what you've been through. Tell her all of your secret, all of your troubles, right? Then you wouldn't have been in prison. And if you wouldn't have been in prison, maybe you could have, been driving your mom to work or whatever, and then she wouldn't have gotten to an accident. Have you ever thought about those what if moments?
Every day.
Yeah?
Every day. You relive that moment over and over and over, right? Like, what if I didn't do this? What if I didn't never meet this guy? What if I didn't do this, what my life would be, right? And yeah, same thing that you would say, if I would never go to prison, I could have worked more and helped out my mom more. She don't have to work so hard, to take care of me in there and everything. So a lot of those did, but I also learned to relive that moment, give me depression, right? Because I can't go back and change the past.
Exactly.
Right? Whatever happened is already happened. I lived that moment every day for a long time after my man passed. I told you over a year I go to depression.
Right.
Because I keep reliving what if. Right? I even relived the moment, what if I killed the guy that snitched on me? I would never tell him that I would arrest, right?
Right.
You can go to a lot of what if, but it brings you more depression. So that's why over a year I thought, realized, like, okay, rather than let that be a burden, let that be a lesson for me. What would I do differently now, from now on? Right? I try to go back. Yes, everything I did there was wrong. But I could have go back. I could have do a lot of things differently.
Yeah.
But I can never go back. I can only go forward from here on out. Right? So a lot of time make me realize, okay, I can't go back and change who I was, but I can change who I am now, be a better person. Right? Yeah, my mom not here to witness this, but maybe, she's somewhere watching over me and be proud of me. Right? Yeah, of course, there's a lot of things I wish I could go back and do different. Talk to my mom, open it up. That's why every time I have this conversation with teenagers and young adults, I always tell them, you have something to say to your parent, do it. At the same thing with the parent. You have something to say to your kid, tell them. One thing I noticed that as the Asian parent, they don't tell the kid how much they love them or proud of them.
Exactly.
They expect their kid should be that good, so they don't tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them. For me, like tell them.
It's in our culture, man.
That's in our culture. I think that's a bad culture. I don't know. It's like some of them are good, but I think that's something because even as a teenage kid, man, you heard your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister tell you, I'm proud of you, man. You got straight A or you do this. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for this. Like, maybe change the kid thinking a little bit, right? Because
Bro, you remind me of the story when, Tết, đêm giao thừa, like New Year Eve, and we were cooking bánh chưng đó, like back in Vietnam when I was like 5-year-old. Yeah. I can never forget this memory, this moment when the first time that I heard my mom call me Con. Yeah. Because before, we have 7 siblings, bro. She don't have time for me, right? And she was like, oh, lấy cái củi này cho mẹ đi con. And she said that. I was like, oh, snap. My mom loved me. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, I know that because the action proved everything, right? Because everything she does is for her children. Yeah. Her children come first. I know she would sacrifice her life. That's what she's been doing for her life. But she would never say it, you know? So, and the first time she said that she loved me was when I went to boot camp. Yeah. When I joined the military. So when you said that, when you enter the prison and they make you strip down naked, that kind of brought me back to the memory. I went through the same thing, bro. Yeah. I went through the same thing when I went boot camp, know? So, yeah, man, like it's something in our culture, and I hope that we can change, we can do something to our kids.
That's why we need to have more of this conversation. That's one of the main reasons we're having a conversation. It's not only for a parent, but for kid too, for all kid now. We all old enough to have teenager kid or young adult kid. And you have something you want to tell your parent, do it. The same thing for us. You want something to tell your kid, do it. Yeah. They do something good, tell them. Before I was arrested, I'm getting in all that trouble. I know my mom worked hard, doing everything. Right? But just like any parent, she keep all the emotion to herself. She never tell us, look, I have to left you guys behind to find a better lives, right? You know what? I have to work this much to give you guys. She never tell us that. But now growing up, I understand it now. But as a kid, I don't. She left Vietnam when I was 8 years old. I grew up with my great aunt, and a lot of time I don't understand why my mom left me. Why I got left behind. But I understand that she have to get a better life for us. Right. Right. So I see a lot of guys in jail too that their parents put them on the boat and they didn't go because they want to send them kid over here for them to have better life. So they go over here, they by themselves, they get in trouble, they go to prison, and when they talk like in the beginning, I thought my hate me, put me on the boat and send me away. But now I know that they just want a better life for me. They don't care about them. That's why they sent me, to have a better life. But now I understand it too late. I'm sitting here. Yeah. And growing up, like without your parent is hard. To have the communication open. That's why I always encourage all the parents right now. Talk to your kid. Have a conversation with them. How's your school? How everything? Right? Be their friend if you could. But we still have to be their parent, but at the same time, we have to understand them.
Yeah. Another interesting point that I can take away from your story is that when you said you can't go back to change the past.
No.
Whatever happened.
Yes.
The only thing you can control is now. Yes. And whatever you're doing now is going to affect your future.
Yes.
So that's very powerful right there.
Yes, that's what is something I learned in there is something that I always tell myself, everything good or happen in my life, I always say it is everything happening in our life either is a blessing or is a blessing. It's a lesson that you learn from the bad thing. Or the blessing is something good happen. Right. Right? If you living in the past, it gives you depression. Right. When you think too much into the future, it gives you anxiety. You worry about all the stuff in the future that scare you, that gives you anxiety. Right. You can't control the future when you don't know what it's like.
And they may not even happen.
They not even happen. 80 to 90% of things we worry about, it never happened. That gives you anxiety. Right. And all you can do is living in the moment, because whatever you do in the moment affecting your future. And whatever you do in the moment also show your people, other people, your past was just a mistake. It was a lesson you learned it from. Right? So we can't live in the past for too long, and you can't keep looking to the future without living our lives at the moment. Anything you can do is right now.
Right. Right. So what happened to, well, first of all, when did you get released?
I got released in June of 2021.
Okay, so it's
June
been
21, like 3.5 years now.
3.5 years.
3.5 years
Okay.
now.
What
Yeah.
happened to your buddy?
He's still in there.
He's still in there?
He's still in there. He's like I said, he haven't changed. He's still,
Mm.
last I heard, he's still getting in trouble while he's still inside. So yeah, he's still in there. So
So not everyone changed.
no, not everyone changed. Definitely not everyone changed. Like I said, I'm not sitting here advocate for give everybody a second chance. Some people deserve a second chance, and some people that
Right.
never change, when they come home, they're going to repeat the same thing.
What about?
So that's why education in prison is important. And if anybody in there, they have their family member or anybody in there, tell them to take advantage.
Mm.
Take advantage, learn while you're in there. Use your time wisely. I'd be able to learn so much stuff in prison. I wouldn't be able to sit here to have this conversation with you in English if it wasn't for prison.
Right.
Because I barely speak any English when I went in.
Yeah.
Right? Because I came over here at a young age, but I hang out with all the Vietnamese fans, so
Right.
we never in the obligation to even speak English.
What about a guy that only went in for 6 months?
What I heard through mutual friend or something, that he was addicted to drug, in and out of
Oh.
jail, being a homeless, or like bad. Like he's, that's why sometimes I look
Wow.
back like, should I be angry at him or should I be thankful for him?
Yeah, I was about to ask you that question.
Right.
Like,
Because it wasn't for what he did, I wouldn't become the person I am right now. I couldn't be dead. The
right.
lifestyle we're living.
Right.
I didn't know how many people want to kill me until I go to jail.
Wow.
Right? So when you friend with all the guys that used to be your enemy on the street and they would tell you, oh man, we try to kill you here, we try to kill you there. The same thing you're telling them. Right? Like
And now we meet in prison.
Yeah, now we're meeting here, we become best friends. Like, oh man, we roommate, we live in the
That's
same cell in
weird.
prison. It's weird, right? And we would share story with each other. Like we're telling me, oh, I know you used to go to this school, you used to hang out with this place, that place, you were driving this car, and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So, let's go back to that guy. I'm not sure I'd be mad at him or thank him because it wasn't for him, I couldn't be dead.
Right.
It couldn't for, prison, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. Right? And, every time something like that, it always bring me back to my mom. And there's some things I always say is like, you have faith in God. He have a plan
Yeah.
for you. He have a plan for you. Or sometimes our plan is not God's plan. So he's a very religious person. He said, just have faith. Just believe.
Mm.
But someday you will walk free and you become a better person. She was right.
Yeah. It's funny when you said out on the street, we trying to kill each other.
Yes.
But now in prison, like we're brothers.
We're brothers.
We're
We're
looking
best
out for
friends.
each other. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Interesting point.
I was in the same cell, because the 2-man cell.
Yeah.
I was same cell with the guy
Uh-huh.
that I was shot at him and he was shot at me. And we didn't know that until we was inside the cell and with that share story, and we realized that we were shooting at each other when we was on the street.
But nobody got injured.
No, he got hit. He got
he got
hit.
hit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, like it's like crazy just by gripping by his arm, but
Yeah.
my car was all shot down. So it's crazy
Damn.
that
you
they
guys
was
became friends after
we
that.
come back friends. We were laughing it up. We're like, man, how stupid we was. Right? And how dumb we was, man. What the hell were we thinking? I don't know you, you don't know me. You try to kill me just because, we're on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. It's something there. That's like a lot of us realized. I was in there with basically every single guy that, go up and do crazy stuff in Orange
Yeah.
County in the 80 and the 90, even in 2000 something, and in there with them. And a lot of them, it changed. A lot of them, I remember how crazy they was out here. Now, I met them in there after 10, 15, 20 years, and they're like completely different person. I'm like, wow. If people want to change, they could. It's just so that we're all capable of change.
Yeah.
We're all capable of being a better person if we wanted to.
Right. And you've changed a lot, obviously. After 3 years since you got out, obviously you became a completely different person than who you were. But I'm just curious, like, what makes you upset now? And are you
Ooh.
still facing any demon?
Oh, it's a lot. There's a
Really?
lot of demon that's there. Because, before when I was in there, I thinking after I get out of prison, the hard time is over. After I get out of prison, it's all good time. No, it's not. It's not. After I get out of prison, it's just a beginning. I went in when I was 19. I
Right.
get out when I was 43. I never had to pay bill in my life before I went in. I never know anything. Now I have to be a grown up. My mom is left. My brothers have wives and kids. He have a family of his own, and it's just me. I have to start building a life for me
Right.
as a convicted felon, as a convicted murderer, with nothing. Man, in the first 6 months to a year, I went through a depression, a hard time for some time. Like, man, I want to go back in. It's too hard out here. And people that I know back then still look at me as the 18, 19-year-old kid, the troublemaker.
Wow.
They still don't trust me, right? Because I won't blame them. That's all they remember who I was.
Right.
They never got a chance to see who I am. So in the beginning, I tried to please them, to do everything they want me to do, to make them happy, to make them trust me. But while doing that, I forgot how to live my life. And I go through a serious depression to the point I'm like, man, this is too hard out here. And once again, I turned into all the guys I was in prison with that get out before me.
Right.
They would call me. I would call them and say, man, did you went through this state? They said, yes, went through this state. Because the distance had been too long with a family, a friend, whatever. We haven't lived together. We haven't been near each other for so long. We have to build up that bridge.
There was no connection.
There's no connection. And we live in two different worlds.
Yeah.
Right? We live in two different worlds. And the only person they remember was that boy, the 18, 17-year-old, 19-year-old kid that get in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So it was hard. And even looking for a job or anything, the number one thing when I get out, I feel is, have society forgive me. I know the justice system might have because they said I'm okay to go home, but the society forgive me. Right? If people are going to look at me forever as the convicted murderer, convicted felon, convicted murderer, have they forgiven me? In the beginning, I'm always scared to tell people who I was. Right? And even people you're talking to, they're like, what did you used to do? What like this and that? Why are you 40-something years old and you still haven't married, you don't have any kid or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to tell them, man, I just get out of prison. Right? And then, that thing always leads to like, what you in prison for? And I go through all that. So that's number one fear is thinking if society have been forgiving me, right? And who I was as the person, the demon gonna follow me because the gang will still exist. A lot of these kids growing up don't know who I am, but they heard of who I was, right? And they always like, not called idolize, but like, oh man, this guy was back then doing all this crazy stuff, shooting and do all this stuff. Right? They idolize. And at the same time, the people that you try to hurt back then, if they forgive you, right? The family of the person that lost their lives in my case, have they forgive me or they try to hurt me, right? The gang that I would try to shoot at, if they forgive me or they still like, it's a lot of things we still have to face, right? But like I said, I just live my life like one day at a time, we would call it, right? And try to be a good person, try to be a better person than who I was. You sold it to people that I'm no longer that person. And I have to prove harder than anybody. Where choice is something you have to earn, not a given.
Have you ever got rejected when you go apply for a job?
Many, many times.
Really?
Many, many times. Many, many times. Honestly, the only job that I actually have is for the people that know me, that give me a chance. Know me to give a chance. I was applying for a couple of different jobs. And after they find out about my past, it's the trick is they don't ask you, by law, they're not supposed to ask you about your criminal record. Right? They say, have you been convicted with a felon? Yes or no? Optional. Right? But if you don't mark it, they know you're convicted. Right? Because if you never been convicted, you would say no.
Right.
Right? So if you check yes, and they're going to go deep into like what you got convicted for. Right? And a lot of things that holding us back. That's why a lot of us that come home that I see that success or having a good life, a good job, or to create their own business, or working for a non-profit place that doing prison reform or justice reform or do a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm like working for myself, boarding and training dog, public speaking, go back, mentoring kid in jail, talking to, inmates, stuff like that. So that's a lot of work that we do that be successful.
Does the government have any program to help you guys, support you guys?
Well, the program that they have for us, like when we first come home, we have to stay in, they call it the transitional house, or also known as the halfway house. You have to stay there for 1 year, right? 6 months to a year. They pay for rent, they pay for food, whatever work that money that you make, you can keep it for your future. And the only rule you have there is you can't leave the house until 6 o'clock in the morning, and you have to be home by 10. So you have curfew.
Yeah.
So that's the program. They have further 1 year free rent. But once again, after 1 year free rent, where you going to live? Right? For me, after I'm done with that program, I try to go rent a house. I can't because I don't have a credit score. I don't have any good working history. Right? I'm a convicted felon. And I'm still on parole. So I can't go rent a house, and I don't make enough money to go rent an apartment all by myself. I can't go share a room either because if the house owner knowing I'm on parole, that my parole agent come to the house and check on me all the time, they're not going to let me rent the house. They have cop coming to the house once a month to check on the house. So there's a lot of obstacles we have to go through, and that's why we got to be strong. We got to know what our goal is.
So what is your mission in life right now?
Man, my mission in life is just try to help other people. That's why, telling my story, hopefully to help kids not to make the same mistake that I made, and try to advocate for a lot of guys still inside, that they are capable of change. Some of them deserve a second chance. Not all people that sent in there that irredeemable, right? Yeah, we all make mistakes. We all make bad choice, bad decisions when we're young. We pay our dues to society. Some of them been there 20, 30 years. That's why telling my story sometimes get to the lawmaker to show it to them, hey, all human is capable to change. Give them a second chance. Take a look at their case. Take a look at them if they, can come home and be an impact for society. Because it costs $134,000 a year to have easy inmates in prison.
Right.
If a lot of those guys that no longer need to be in there and they pay their due and they change their life, give them a chance to come home to be a better person. All the guys that I was in there with, the long timer in there with me, I come home, like 20, 30, 50, 100 of them, none of them have returned back in. You all learn, and so many of them is doing good now. They're starting their business. They're starting their own non-profits to work with abused and to help our community. It's just same thing with my goal and the promise I make to God that, I'm going to try to help. If I can just help one kid not to make the same mistake as me, I think I did my job.
Right.
Yeah, I can tell them my story. I can share with them my experience, but at the end of the day, it's still up to them. If they want to change their life or to do better. And, my mission is just, helping as much people as I can.
Do you know anyone that's still sitting in prison right now that you know for a fact that they deserve a second chance?
I know so many.
Really?
Yeah, I know so many. On top of my head, I know at least I can name about 10, 15 guys.
Wow.
I know one guy that he been in there for 40 years now. Right? He have clean records for like 30 years. No trouble. Right? He go in there with not even a high school diploma. Now he got his GED. He got his bachelor degree and he got his master degree. He been wrote a couple of books. He been completely changing his lives around, and he's still sitting in there. Yeah.
He got a master degree.
He got a
and
master
wrote books?
degrees in prison. He wrote a couple of books.
Why is he not out yet?
Because he got life without parole. The only person that have a power to release him is a governor, like to reduce his sentence. I'm not talking about release him straight to society.
Right.
Just give him a chance to present his case in front of parole hearing.
Right.
I'm not asking them to release him. Ask them to give him a chance.
So they don't even have a chance to present the case.
No, when you have a life, that's what the sentence of life without the possible parole is meaning.
Right.
You will die in there. And for me, that was like harsh, not hard, but like unusual punishment sentence. Right? It's like, okay, so no matter what I do, you're never gonna give me a second chance. Might as well just take them out and kill them. Why do you keep them like $134,000 a year?
You believe everyone deserves a second chance?
I believe everybody should have a chance to show that they're capable of change. Right? I'm a dog trainer. I love dog. Right? We usually work with a lot of shelter dog that bite other dog or bite people that people don't want it and throw them in the shelter. We want to take them home and train the dog to become a better person. If animal is capable of change, I think human can. But some of them don't want to change and not incapable of change. I would never recommend to have any of those guys have opportunity to go home. They need to stay in there. But if guys can show that they change based on their behavior, their communication, and everything they do, we should give them a second look. After they pay 20, 30, 40 years in prison, more than half of their life. Let me see, because a lot of people thinking if somebody do something, put them in prison and punish them, and that is it. Right? For me, it's not. Prison is something that we should help them change to become a better person. Right? While they're in prison, we got to give them programs. You got to give them opportunity to better themselves so they can come home to be a better citizen. Right? If somebody do something, we just throw them in prison and punish them and not helping them. For me, it's not a justice system. That's a revenge system. You hurted me, now I'm hurting you. You know, but you got to give them a chance to better themselves. You let them realize what they did is wrong.
Right.
You know, there's so many of us that come home to be a better person, to be a productive member. We pay taxes. We be able to help our community, to, you know, help our community. If people make mistakes, you know, most guys, the most age that guys have been in prison for life sentence, that between 17 and 20. They're not even
still kids. Don't know anything.
Yeah, they're still kid.
Yeah.
Right? They're still kid. They still in there when they was... The youngest guy I ever seen in there was 14 years old, and his sentence was like 90-something year of sentence. You telling me the 14-year-old kid was incapable of change? I don't know, but for me, I think is everybody should earn an opportunity to show to people or show to society that they changed. They're no longer a person who they was.
At least have a look at the case.
Have a look at them, talk to them, right? I'm not telling, advocate for them to release them. No.
Right.
For people that have been in there for 20, 30, 40 years, man, that's more than half of people's life. Right?
Do you think we have enough like programs or, you know, tools to help people like you kind of ease into the society after you got out?
They do. I see in LA County, they have a lot of those programs, a lot of nonprofit that helping easing in. In Orange County, I don't see a lot.
Oh.
You know, Orange County is very conservative, always tough on crime, right? And they always like, but for me, man, if they getting home and we're not helping them, they're going to commit crime again. Right? This time might be a minor, maybe next time might be a serious, can hurt somebody, can kill somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Why don't we try to help them not to do that?
Right.
That's what my thing is to do right now is trying to explain to those people, to the guy, look, there's better way you can succeed. Right? That's why we need more program to help those. But especially job. We in LA County, they have the play they call the homeboy industry. I don't know if you know it. It started from the Catholic priest. All he did, he started a nonprofit and he hired nothing but ex-con to work for him. Right? To make bakery, to do bread, to do whatever. He hired nothing but ex-con to work for him. And it's so successful, his company now was like $billions of dollars. Right? And in Orange County, I don't see a lot of those. Like, guy come home that, you know, if they want to change their life, they want looking for a job, they don't have any. You know, I have friends that in and out of jail all the time, and they call me. And I would told them, like, you know, friend I grew up with, they're not been in prison along with me, but they're in there for 2 years, 3 years, get out, get in there for a year, 2, get out, like in and out all the time. One time I told him, you guys sick and tired of that, man? I'm sick and tired of coming in and out. And he like, what can I do, bro? Find me a job. Find me somebody that's willing to hire me. Get me a job. I'm not going to sleep on the street. I'm not going to be a homeless. I'm not going to sleep under the bridge. I'm not going to be out there begging.
Right.
So what he do? Go commit burglary, go commit robbery, whatever. To them, they feel like if I get some money, I'm good. If I don't, I have a roof over my head. We have to change the ways of thinking. We got to give them hope. We got to give them something to live for. Right? We keep rejecting them furthermore. They make them worse and worse. Right? Like we said earlier, hurt people, hurt other people. Heal people, heal other people. You've been healed, you were to talk to the guy that hurt you, heal them. You know, for me, we got to give them a second chance. We got to give them a look, give them an opportunity. I know so many guys, they broken their promise, broken their chain. But man, it to the point that we have to take a look at them.
Yeah.
Who
I
can
see.
we change?
So to me, it's more than that. It's more than just, you know, okay, I'll give you a second chance. I'll release you. Okay, now go do your thing, you know, and it stopped right there.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything. Like I said
now,
earlier.
now they get rejected by society.
Yes.
And then it keeps like an endless cycle, you know?
Yes. Because like I said earlier, If you just put me in jail
Uh-huh.
and not helping me while I'm in there, and some guy was not looking for help, and when you release me, I become worse.
Right.
I become worse than I was because now I'm able to hang out with all the criminal that can teach me all the bad things to do. Like I feel like my status has been moving up. Now I've been doing prison time or jail time. Now I become somebody, right? But we have to help them when they was in there and they come home. And more than we rejecting them, the more they make it worse. The same thing, like I'm making this really example is we have kids. They 12, 13, 14, 15. They do something bad, we just take away all their toy and lock in the room and not talk to them and just punish. The kid will never learn. They're like, why you punish me? Why you doing this? I didn't do nothing wrong. Because the kid think he know everything.
Right.
If we sit them down and say, look, the reason I did it to you because you hang out with people that can lead you in trouble. I know that. The reason you're doing it because I caught you smoking weed or using drug or whatever I explain it to you, that can lead you into deeper. And explain it to them, make them understand, right? I punish you for your own good, so you understand that. Explain it to them, but you just lock them in the room and say, go to your room, lock the door, take away everything you have. That kid will never learn. The same thing with people that send in to jail. We got to give them more opportunity to go to school, go to class, helping them, right? Explain it to them. That's why a lot of time that people like me that come home, that we went back into prison to teach class in there, just showed it to them. So those guys can say, man, it can't be done. It's impossible. I'm like, how can you say it can't be done? I did it. Right? That's why now a lot of time I volunteer. I go back into prison, talk to them, explain it to them, give them some hope.
Right.
So they can behave themselves.
So punishment or discipline for kids is not enough. You got to talk to them. Communication, maybe counseling, training, education.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Communication,
Makes
same
sense.
thing with kid. That's why I want to do this in English. Kid, if something you don't understand, what your parent will punish about, ask them. What I did that's so wrong that you punish me or you take this away from me.
Right.
Talk to your parent, explain it to them. And something that our Asian family or a lot of people do it, their parent will tell the kid, because I say so. I mean, it's something like that to make the kid want to do more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm guilty of that sometimes too.
Yeah, we all do. Like when I grow up, like we always like, because I say so. Rather than open up a dialogue with it, because when we're doing that, our kid will stop coming to us.
Right.
Why I'm telling him.
Right.
He's not gonna spend it to me. He's not gonna do anything to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I had that tough conversation with my son. He's 14. So he's around that age, very rebellious. And I remember I say that a lot when I'm busy and when he annoy me and he keep asking back. And I just say, because I say so, So soon enough, I realized, okay, this ain't working. So I sat him down and we talked. So now we talk a lot where, I explain to him, okay, if you want something, you don't come to your parents and say, I want this, I need that. Instead, you ask, what can I do to earn this, earn that?
Yes.
Right? And if we get angry at you, if you, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yes.
Right? Just ask, have a conversation. If you feel like something is confusing or you feel like we don't understand you, just ask. Right? And it goes both ways. But I know that we got some work to do.
Yeah.
Right? So talk to me about how you get involved with dog training. Since when did you become a dog trainer?
I become a dog trainer when I was inside. When I was inside in 2000 and I say 14 or 15.
Yeah.
They start think up of the way to bring shelter dog into prison and teaching inmate how to train them. Right? Because all the shelter dog was in the shelter, nobody come and adopted them. Because who wouldn't? There was the bad dog. That's why people throw them away and put them in there. Nobody would adopted them.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why they come up with the way they're also helping us, helping them. They bring in those dogs. In the beginning, they bring in a couple of trainers that teaching like a handful of inmate the technique of how to train dogs. And after that, we start teaching each other. Right? We start teaching each other how to train dogs, how to work with them. And over the year, when I joined it, another inmate that taught me. Right? Every step of the way, another inmate that taught me. And we have to be in good behavior to be in that program. You see, can't everybody to be in that program. And, dog changed my life. When I was outside, we have a dog at home, but we don't see him as much. But in there, man, it was the first time you can That's like a living being and we with you. Like we never see a dog. The only time we see a dog one day is usually to searching us. Right? The canine dog that was searching our contraband, our drug and everything. So being in that program has really changed my life. Helped me for the first time I have to take care of another living creature, a dog. They have like 2 to 3 of us take care of one dog. We have like 3 weeks to train this dog to be good behaving dog. And it's for the first time that I have to take care of somebody rather than myself. You know, take the dog out to use the bathroom, feed him, shower him, do all the things with the dog. And it would taught me like big value. And for me, it's like when I'm joining that program, before that, when I got a chance to go home. I don't even know I had a chance to go home yet when I joined that
You didn't
program.
know yet?
I didn't know yet.
Yeah.
I'm just joining because I'm like, man, I want to learn something. And it's cool to hang out with dog when I see other guy did it. So working with this dog, I can see myself in them. You know, I can see myself in the dog, and I'm like, this is the dog that nobody wanted. Right? People throw them away. But now we train them. They know all this command, they behave a dog. A lot of people want to adopt them, all because the dog is chained.
Right.
Therefore, from a wild dog to behaving dog to like, you know, do anything on command. Man, people will line up, say, can we adopt that dog?
Now
Because-
everybody want it.
Yeah, now everybody, even some prison guards in there, when we train them, we walking them, and they so behave, they're like, hey, did anybody adopt that dog? Well, I wanted that dog. Man, my dog at home, they crazy. They never listen. They bite me, they walking like, I wanted that dog. And it just make me realize, like, I'm no different than that dog. I was crazy. I was hurting people. I was not behaving, and the society threw me away and put me inside prison. If I changed my life to become better, maybe someday somebody want to adopt it and bring me home. You know, and
Interesting.
thinking that got me going when I work on them. And it's like, for the first time you're able to take care of him. Like, it's just amazing. I remember the first dog I have, we trained him for 6 weeks, and the dog was good. Somebody adopted him, and they come and pick up the dog. And when they take the dog away, it's like my heart is broken. Like, man, I bonded with this dog for so
Yeah.
long. Now they took him away from me.
Yeah.
You know, now I have to work with the new one.
Yeah.
And it's just like your heart will be like broken. You just have so invested in it. But I just like, that's why I learned it. I just love it. You know, I come home and beginning is not my job, but on the weekend I would go help other people, or I'll go make some side money to go to people how to train their dog, to help them. But that's something I do right now. It's not something I'm passionate about. I love it. I love how to work with them because they changed my life. That's one of the things that I can see myself in one of those dogs.
What's your favorite dogs to train?
All of them.
All of them?
I just can't train Chihuahua. They just have too much. I can't, but it's just like too much time. They like
They have too much energy,
Yeah,
huh?
too much energy.
Yeah.
I often tell people they're mad at me. I said, "There's no such thing as bad dog. It's bad owner. You don't know how to train on a bad dog, right?"
So what's the easiest dog to train though?
I think the smartest one is always Golden Retriever or Labrador
Yeah.
or Poodle or something like that. But they like training dog with like you speaking a whole new language with them. You try to teach them to understand your language, right? To understand them to everything you say. Beginning, they not understand what you say, but they might understand what you pointing your physical cue to show them what you want them to do. Because with dogs, a lot of time they want to understand us. They want to know what you tell them.
Yeah.
Like, but we just don't know how to teach them, how to explain it to them.
Takes a lot of skill.
Oh, they take a lot of patience. Number
Yeah.
one is patience. Teaching dog, another thing that really helped me too is patience. They help with my patience a lot. Because dog, you can't train them right away. You can't just give me a dog and I train immediately. No. But it take me a day to chew a bond with that dog, get to know them, for them to trust me and everything. And some of the dog was been so spoiled, so knucklehead for so many years. And you have to break that thing down and slowly to get into him and get him to listen or to listen. So yeah, one thing about dog.
How do you
teaching
bond with a
patience.
dog?
It's easy. The dog is not. Oh, I say easy because I know it. It's always started because can they trust you, right? If I got a brand new dog and this dog was scared away from me, like stay away from me, I can't just force them. I can't just chase them and grab them. I'm like, no. Every day I give them a treat or something and I just walk away. And next time, a few hours later, I give them a treat and I walk away. So they get the dogs used to. Every time I see this guy, I got a treat.
See,
He's not that bad.
it's not that bad.
Right? So he slowly get closer to me, and I were to like bond with him and play you don't force the dog to listen to you. The same thing, like I would refer to dog human, like you can't force a kid, like pin him down, like you have to listen to me the other way, right? You communicate through our action, through our behaviors and everything. The same thing with dog. It's slowly you bond it. When it start trusts you, and you can start training them. You can start, teach them a little bit at the time. You have to be really patient. You gotta be a lot of patience.
I see. Usually, how long does it take you to train a dog?
On average, to train one dog, like just like basic command, like 8, 9 command, it's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
About 2 weeks. Some dogs might take longer, but they take a minimum of 2 weeks to train. Like,
how many hours a day?
Oh, countless hours.
Really?
Because the dog, you can only train them 15 to 30 minutes at the time. Right? Because after that, their brain can only take so much. You have to take a break. You have to play with them. You have to let them relax before you can do it again. You can't force them, because you keep forced to train them, they're going to get mad and bite you. So when you start seeing he's not listening to you, you tell him something that you know that he know, but he ignoring you. Woman, he fed up, like, okay, it's time to take a break.
Give him a break.
Yeah, give him a break. Let him play for like 15, 20, 30 minutes and go back to it. Right. And yeah, it's a lot of hours you have to invest into it.
I see. I probably need a dog trainer too, bro.
Okay.
So what's your email? So maybe, someone listening to this story, they can contact you and, get some help.
My email is at hung2021@gmail.com. It's HUNGA2K2021@gmail.com.
I see.
Now they can find me on Facebook or Instagram, Hung Nguyen. You can find me a picture with a dog on my profile page.
Just Hung Nguyen?
Yeah, just Hung Nguyen, yeah.
Okay. On a side note, I forgot to ask you earlier, how did you feel like the first day that you got out? What did you do? What did you eat?
Oh, man, it's overwhelming.
Really?
Oh, it's overwhelming. It's like it's not real. It's not real. My lawyer come to prison and pick me up. And I remember, she come to pick me up, get in the car, she drive to the gas station, and she like, come in, go get some whatever you want to drink. I stand in the middle of a gas station store and just start staring. Like I was scared to even touch anything to go anywhere, right? While she would try to pay for the gas. I'm like, go get something. And I'm like, can I go use the restroom? They're like, you're not in prison no more. Just go use the restroom.
You have to ask.
So I go and it's like, you know what? Just use the restroom, get in the car, and she buy me one of each drink. Like buy one of each. And after that, she took me to In-N-Out to meet my family. My brother, one of my godmothers, and a couple of friends. They took me there to eat the In-N-Out burger and a shake. And I came home that night and it was just like scare. Right? They let me stay home for one night before I have to check in with my pro agent and my transitional house.
Yeah.
And I remember they took me to one of the restaurants, I think Tianjin or something. Everything is just moving so fast. It's like, man, I got headache. It's overwhelming, and like I can't eat. All this year, I was craving for all this food, but I can't eat. Like I'm just overwhelming.
Yeah.
I can't eat, and I come home and I couldn't sleep all night. I couldn't sleep. I stay up until like 4 or 5 o'clock. Because I was worried. I close my eye. I wake up. I'm back in prison.
Oh, wow.
Because it feel like a dream. Right? Like I'm so tired, but I'm fighting.
You afraid that it's a dream?
Yeah, I'm afraid it was a dream. I was fighting to sleep.
Shit.
Like I was tired, my eye closed, and I just like fight myself to stay up. Like I'm afraid, and when I close my eye, I wake up, I will back into the prison cell. Because, in prison, we have many of those dreams. The one day we'll be outside. Like in prison, you were in there and you dream that you at the beach, you're hanging out, and you open your eye back up and you see nothing but prison wall, and like, oh, damn it was a dream. So when the reality happened, you still think it's a dream. You're like, in your mind, this is real, this is real. But for me at that time, I was like terrified to close my eye. I have like 3 hours of sleep. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm not in prison. Like, I go down.
Pinch yourself?
Yeah, I'm like, I want, one of my friends' house, and I go down in the kitchen, they make me a cup of coffee, and I just go to the back and like enjoy the fresh air. I'm like, oh man, this is good. Like this is good, and it's so much it changed, and you were terrified the first few days, right? It's the first time I went to DMV to get my driver's license. I was terrified. It was the first time in my life I was alone.
Yeah.
With no supervision, nobody with me, and just me and alone. And they were terrified.
Damn.
But I still build a lot of bad habit when I go to shopping, to go to any store of shopping. I always put my hand outside so they see that I don't steal anything to camera.
Wow.
Because in there, you always heard a story of like, people accusing of steal something they did because they got their hand. I always walking with my hand outside like this. And my friend and them said, man, put your hand away. You're not in there. I'm like, no, I'm not going back in. Like, it was overwhelming. It's the first week, it's like you're living in a dream. Like every night you be able to sleep. First night for me, like 2 to 3 hours. The next night was like 4 hours and a 5 hour. Right? It's just like overwhelming. It's can't describe it.
Yeah. Damn, man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to sleep because you're afraid it's a dream, and you wake up, you still be in jail.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, you're not in jail no more.
Yeah.
But now, what if, there's some teenagers or any young people listening to this story, if you can sum it up in a few sentences, what is the takeaway from this?
Man, one thing I want kids to take away from this conversation is to show them how easy it is for you to go from the right direction to the wrong direction, right? And open up a communication with your parent. Talk to them about your feeling, how you think, and everything. It's real easy for you to go to the wrong direction without even notice this. For my case, I'm going in, but the person that killed, they didn't do anything. Just hang out with the wrong people and got killed. Sometimes we feel like I didn't do anything. I'm not a gang member. I'm not doing anything, so it's not going to affect me. But because you hang out with people like that, you put your lives in danger. If they do something, you also affected by it. Right? So for my thing to the kid or to the parent too, like have a conversation. Open up the conversation. Having the relationship, not relationship, but like have a conversation. If you have something that you don't understand what your parent was doing, ask them. Same thing with parent. Something you don't understand with your kid, ask them. Take them time, don't force them. Right? Give them an opportunity and pay attention to your kid. And I would tell all the parents when I talk to them is, pay attention to who your kid hanging out with. Because that's who your kid really is. Because sometimes we don't know our own kid. Because they are kid. We raised them. Never thought was a good one. But pay attention to the crowd that he hang out with.
Right.
That is exactly your kid. If you see his friend is one of the guys that always get in trouble, they always doing this, your kid most likely will be like that too.
So that saying is true. Show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Show me who your friends are, exactly who you are. Same thing with your kid. Because at the parents, sometimes we can't see our kid because we don't want to even think about our kid is one of those person.
Yeah.
Right? It's no matter what, it's still our kid.
So for the kids that don't have any parents or can't talk to their parents, they can talk to someone else they trust, right?
Someone else trust.
Mentor.
Boy and girl club or anything, any mentor, their teacher.
Counselor.
Or somebody trust their counselor, anybody, right? That's why the reason I love what I do to speaking to kids, I would tell them, man, add me on Instagram, Facebook. You guys need somebody to talk to? Call me. Text me. I come talk to you. I come explain it to you. Right? It just don't think that the war is coming to an end. Because at the young age, like, oh my God, my life is worse. Like, they always think everything is worse. It's like you have something, speak about it. You out here in the field world, man, you have a lot of help. You have a lot of help. You have a lot of help. You need it, seek it.
What if you are a parent? How would you educate your kid?
Well, I am, taking care of a little girl right now. I look like my own kid, right? That I'm about her friend when I needed to, and I'm her dad when I needed to. But when you do good, I praise you. I do everything like you deserve every single praise. When you do bad, I will point it to you about the bad thing that you did. And we can talk about it, and we can move on. I explain it to you. And for me, it's easy. Not easy, but for me, I tell them, look, I lived through that, man. Trust me when I see it. Same thing with my niece and my nephew that I have. I always, try to have a close relationship with them. That's something I told them, look, you can't talk to your mom and dad. Come talk to me. Right? Come talk to me. I don't judge you. You don't want me to tell your mom and dad how you feel? It's fine. You can keep it straight between me and you.
Yeah.
Right? You can trust me. right? We can talk about it. So for me, it's always open up the conversation. You know, you can be friends with your kid when you need to, but at the same time, you need to be their parent when you need to.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be tough when you need to be tough, and you need to be loving when you need to be loving.
You know, nowadays in this world, I mean, today everybody is busy, right?
Yes.
Everybody working their tails off.
Yes.
So how can parents do a better job of like communicating with the kids and spending more time with the kids, talking to the kids?
Well, you know, I don't know how everybody's situation is, but yeah, of course, we all have to have a job to make a living, to supporting, you know, our family. You know, same thing with kid. Kid now, they have a lot of friends, but they don't have a lot of friends. What I meant by it, but all their friends on social media, they stuck to their phone. They talk to a bunch of them, but at the same time, they don't have anybody. I see a lot of kids now that lock themselves in the room all day with their phone and they be okay with it. You know, a family can have like a, you know, won't have to eat dinner together, but can have like a family days for 1 day a week or something. Take the kid out, go have something, a picnic, or go do some family event or something. And, you know, just at the parent, like, we know we're all busy, but come home a day, talk to your kid. Hey, how's your day? How everything, right? Pay attention to their behavior. Why they seem so angry today? Why they seem so distant today? Right? I talked to one of the kids, he like 17, 18, he come to me like, he would contemplate with commit with suicide until he listened to my story and he like, oh wow, my problem is not that big. I'm like, why do you want to commit suicide? You were 17, you have a lot of things ahead of you. Same thing with the problem. Like my parents don't understand me. They always work. I'm always, you know, I don't make it a friend at school. People don't hang out with me. You know, I always isolated. And like it's hard, awkward states and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And quick to have weak-minded. You know, now with cyber bullies and everything, right? Not physically bullied, but cyber bullies and everything. You know, I talked to that kid. I said, look, man, call me. You need somebody to talk to. You know, talk to your parent. Tell them how you feel. You know, now I'm happy he's doing good. He in college now. That's been like 2-3 years ago. He in college. He do everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just always open up a communication. Be part of your kid's life. Be their friend. You know, be their parent if you need to.
It's interesting when you said my problem is nothing right now because, you know, I'm not a kid. I'm an adult, but after listening to your story, I mean, now I feel that my problems doesn't mean anything compared to whatever you went through, everything that you went through. Oh man. But anyway, Hưng, it's been a great conversation.
Oh, thank you.
You share a lot of stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I wish you nothing but the best for your future. Now, are you ready to speak in Vietnamese?
Yeah, first, thank you for having me. And cảm ơn mọi người đã cho Hưng cơ hội để mà chia sẻ cái câu chuyện hôm nay. Hy vọng là các phụ huynh, các em trẻ nghe được cái câu chuyện này mình có học hỏi thêm được những gì mà Hưng đã trải qua thì muốn chia sẻ với các em. Nếu mà các phụ huynh mà có cái em nhỏ từ 17, 15, 16, 17, 18 tuổi đó thì nên con như là nói với em là nghe thử cái câu chuyện này coi. Rồi sau khi nghe xong rồi có thể gia đình ngồi nói chuyện với nhau. Hỏi con nghĩ em nghĩ sao về câu chuyện của Hưng. Không có thể take a feedback cho Sean biết để Sean có thể cho mình biết là phụ huynh nghĩ như thế nào hay là các em có những câu hỏi gì. Không có thể thì đó thì nghĩ là nên nghe những câu chuyện như vậy. Nó xảy ra rất nhiều nhưng mà nhiều người không có chia sẻ. Những người mà Hưng ở trong tù chung đó, nhiều đứa nó cũng chia sẻ câu chuyện cũng giống như Hưng thôi. Đó, nhưng mà không có ai chia sẻ, nhiều khi không có người hiểu. Đó, bởi vậy nên cái câu chuyện này Hưng muốn những phụ huynh, những bố mẹ có con hay đó cho con nghe cái câu chuyện này rồi hỏi thử coi nghĩ như thế nào. Nhưng con nên sao có thể giúp được những đứa nhỏ, nhiều khi nó feel lại bố mẹ không có hiểu nó, bố mẹ không thương nó, bố mẹ không thích nó. Thì nhiều khi nghe câu chuyện của Hưng qua rồi họ nói từ trước giờ bố mẹ mình thương mà mình không có hiểu mình không có biết là bố mẹ mình thương, bố mẹ mình đi làm cả ngày mà lo cho mình từng thứ nhưng mà mình cứ nghĩ là bố mẹ mình bỏ rơi mình. Thì sau khi nghe câu chuyện của Hưng mới hiểu ra phải có lý do gì. Nhưng là vậy câu chuyện cũng có thể giúp mấy em là nhiều khi mình cứ suy nghĩ là mình đâu có làm gì sai đâu, mình đi chơi với ai nó làm gì là cái chuyện của nó phải là cái chuyện của mình. Không phải vậy, nhiều khi mình đi chơi với nó là mình cũng dính như con nó. Không có thể bị bắt chung với nó, có thể mà bị liên lụy chung. Đó rồi cũng cái này cho là những em mà những phụ huynh để ý tới con của mình. Với lại cho những người ở cộng đồng như là những người mà ở tù tội qua thì đừng như là khinh thường họ, nó cho họ một cơ hội lại đi. Nhiều người lầm lỗi khi mình còn nhỏ, bây giờ họ son cho những người khác. Dòm lại cuộc đời mình khi mình 15, 16, 17, 18 tuổi mình có làm những gì lầm lỗi không? Đa số những người mình sẽ có lỗi trong cuộc đời mình.
Đặc biệt là khi mà mình không có một người mentor, một người lớn mà hướng dẫn mình đó, dễ dàng make mistake lắm, đặc biệt là tuổi trẻ. Tại vì cái câu chuyện của anh Hưng á, nó rất là special, nó không có gì mới cả, nhưng mà đối với cộng đồng người Việt của mình á, nó phải nói là cái thế hệ của anh Hưng nó thường xuyên xảy ra luôn á. Because I know hồi xưa khi mà Son xuống dưới Cali này đó, miền Nam, tại vì Son có mấy đứa bạn nó sống dưới này, đi lính ở dưới San Diego, nhưng mà cũng lên đây. Nhiều khi đi trong club thấy bắn nhau, y xèo, you know. Và Son biết là cái thời mà những cái năm 90 á, rất là nhiều băng đảng ở đây. Và cái cộng đồng của mình á, nó đặc biệt, nó riêng biệt một chỗ là nó rất là unique, là tại vì mình qua đây mình như nó có người vượt biên, có người thì đi HO vân vân. Cái điểm chung là cha mẹ không biết nói tiếng Anh. Không biết nói tiếng Anh. Và con cái á, qua đây đi làm, ba mẹ thì quá bận rộn đi làm, phải lo bươn chải cái cuộc sống, phải lo try to make a living, đúng không? Rồi con cái mà đặc biệt là những đứa con mà như tuổi của anh Hưng qua bên này, nó có nhiều trang lứa là 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, cũng không có nói tiếng Anh. Mà tới một cái xã hội mới, một cái văn hóa mới, mình phải hòa nhập, mình làm sao mà fit in, đúng không? Mình nhiều khi mình còn phải struggle, mình phải đấu tranh với lại cái identity của mình. Ủa, mình là ai vậy? Mình là người Việt hay là mình là người Mỹ? Mình đi tới đây rồi mình bị kỳ thị này nọ, cái màu da của mình. Rồi mình phải tìm một cái chỗ mà mình phải giống như là một cái family thứ hai, một cái gia đình thứ hai. Và đó là những gì mà anh Hưng đã trải qua, giống như rất là nhiều người khác.
Tại vì những đứa trẻ nhiều khi họ không có thấy được cái tình thương của bố mẹ ở nhà, họ ra đường họ kiếm. Tình bạn bè, tình thương, họ nghĩ là những cái mỗi gia đình có một hoàn cảnh khác nhau. Nhiều đứa trẻ nó không có bố, không có mẹ, nó qua đây một mình, hay là nhiều khi bố mẹ nó mất bố hay là mất mẹ, có bố ghẻ hay là mẹ ghẻ không thương con này nọ đó. Nhiều khi nó ra đường nó kiếm những cái tình thương ở ngoài đường, những tình thương của bạn bè, nó nghĩ đó là tình thương, đó một cái gia đình riêng của nó. Thì những người giống như hoàn cảnh của Hưng, ra đường những người bạn không biết mình là ai mà lại bảo trợ mình. Ai đánh mình họ sẽ nhảy vô giúp mình, ai làm gì mình họ sẽ giúp mình. Mình nghĩ đây là một cái gia đình của mình kiếm. Tại sao bố mẹ mình về mình nói là mình bị chửi bị la không à? Không, như mình về mình nói bố mẹ là hôm nay con vô trường có bạn đánh con hay con đánh lộn là bố mẹ mình la mình trước. Tại sao? Tại lỗi mày này nè. Nhiều khi mình phải hỏi nghĩa là tại sao.
Nhiều khi bị đánh nữa.
Nhiều khi bị đánh mình về mình bị la thêm nữa. Đó. Rồi khi mà đứa nhỏ nó về nhà nó thấy bố mẹ mình la mình mà ra đường thì mấy đứa bạn mình lại chạy ra giúp mình, nó bênh mình. Nhiều khi nhiều đứa nó hoàn cảnh khác nhau. Đó, nên mình cái mỗi người có một hoàn cảnh, nhưng mà lúc nào Hưng cũng nói là nên để ý tới con cái mình, nói chuyện với con mình.
Đúng rồi.
Nó làm giỏi khen nó làm những gì sai nói cho nó biết. Mà nói nó đàng hoàng, mình la mình mắng nó nhiều khi nó không có muốn nghe.
Như là cái tuổi trẻ nhiều khi nó chưa có trưởng thành để mà nó hiểu được.
Đúng rồi.
Và giống như lúc nãy anh Hưng chia sẻ, Son cảm thấy wow, nó rất là powerful chỗ là mình cứ tưởng những người mà binh vực mình, những người bạn bè mà đánh nhau chung với mình là gia đình của mình.
Đúng.
Nhưng mà khi mà mình vướng vào cái hoàn cảnh như vậy, mình vô tù rồi mình ngồi đó, mình hứng chịu bao nhiêu cái hậu quả, mình mới biết được là chỉ có ba mẹ của mình đó là bên cạnh của mình thôi. Đó là gia đình thực sự của mình.
Đúng, gia đình.
Nó rất là powerful. Và lúc nãy khi mà mình nói tiếng Anh á, anh Hưng đã chia sẻ một cái bài học rất là đáng ghi nhận cho các bạn trẻ. Nhưng mà bây giờ nếu như mà có một điều mà anh Hưng muốn nói với những phụ huynh á, thì qua cái câu chuyện này thì chúng ta phải rút ra được cái điều gì?
Một điều mà Hưng muốn nói với các phụ huynh là qua cái câu chuyện của Hưng là nên để ý tới con của mình. Giống như hôm nay cũng nói với Son đó, những đứa bạn của con của mình sẽ cho mình biết con của mình như thế nào. Nhiều khi mình thấy con của mình nghĩ là này nó học giỏi mà nó về nhà nó có straight A rồi nó này nọ mình không có biết. Đó, mình nên để ý cho con mình, với lại hiểu hoàn cảnh của con mình. Mình nhiều đứa những đứa nhỏ nó làm cái gì mà nó quá đời là mình la nó, tại sao mình làm cái này? Mình phải hỏi tại sao con làm những thứ này. Tại sao nếu mà mình bắt nó, như là mình vô mình lục phòng nó, mình thấy nó có xì ke ma túy hay là cái gì đó, mình hỏi tại sao con dùng mấy thứ này, những lý do gì mà con dùng những cái thứ này. Quá đời mắng chửi lập nó này nọ thì không có, nó worst. Cái không quan trọng là nên nói chuyện với con. Không, mình la mắng nó là cũng là một chuyện, nhưng mà mình phải nói chuyện. Nhất là mấy đứa teenager mình la mắng nó là không có work. Không phải như ông bà là bố mẹ mình ngày xưa bên Việt Nam mà cầm cây đập thì cái đó có thể work. Nhưng bên Mỹ mình không được như vậy. Nhưng bên Việt Nam mình là mình làm gì hư là quỳ xuống là lấy cây đập một trận thì có thể là mình nhớ. Đó là mình học hỏi được, nhưng bên Mỹ mình không làm được như vậy. Thì mình phải dùng cái cách khác. Nó không giống như là cái tuổi của nó bây giờ mình phải, em nghĩ cái quan trọng là để ý tới con mình nên nói chuyện. Bây giờ nếu mình có thể được nó một tuần nói chuyện với nó lần, hay là ngồi ăn cơm, hay là đi chơi đi đâu, nó hỏi con mình ra sao, học hành như thế nào, rồi nó có những chuyện gì nó mang tới cho mình nên lắng nghe. Giống như hồi nãy Hưng thích Sean chia sẻ là đứa nhỏ nó thích cái gì đó, nó Sean cho nó cái option, you work for it. Thấy không, nó lại nó xin gì đó, nó ok, chứ nếu mà con làm cái này thì bố là cho con. Đừng có nói no là mình càng push nó này, nó càng far away hơn nữa. Nhưng mình nói no, mình hỏi nó tại sao, tại sao mình không có muốn nó như đường này. Họ có mình đối lại nhiều khi cái truyền thống của mình không có cho con biết là mình thương như thế nào, mình thương con nhưng mà không nói, mình không có khen nó. Nhiều khi nó tốt là thì nó phải tốt rồi.
Tôi nghĩ là tại vì chính cha mẹ mình lớn lên là cũng như vậy.
Đúng rồi.
Đó. Và ông bà mình lớn lên là cũng được dạy như vậy. Cho nên là người Việt Nam mình có cái câu là thương là phải cho roi cho vọt. Và không cần phải nói mở miệng, chỉ cần mình cái action, cái tình cảm mình thương con mình là con mình biết rồi. Nhưng mà bên này thì nó khác. Đúng không? Tại tụi này nó lớn lên ở đây, nó khác với lại
cái truyền thống của nó khác.
Cái văn hóa bên Việt Nam.
Nó truyền thống của nó khác, với lại lúc hồi xưa đến giờ không có cái khác là khi mà mình nói chuyện với gia đình mình, con mình này nọ, cái khâu cuối cùng lúc nào họ tụi Mỹ thích nhất cái là lúc nào họ cúp cái phone nó I love you. Việt Nam mình không giờ nói câu đó. Tiếng Việt cái tiếng Anh cũng ít lắm.
Đúng rồi.
There's something là cái đó Hưng cũng là regret nhất, hối hận nhất là chưa bây giờ mình nói cái câu đó cho mẹ mình suốt cuộc đời mình. Bây giờ mẹ mất mình không còn có cơ hội mình nói câu đó nữa. Nhưng mình nghĩ lúc mẹ mất có 50 tuổi, mẹ còn trẻ quá. Mình không có, mình nghĩ mình còn thời gian, cái nào ngày nào đó mình về rồi mình sẽ cho mẹ biết, mình nói cho mẹ biết mình thương thế nào, mình biết ơn mẹ như thế nào mình không có nói, cứ giữ lại. Không, bây giờ con mình thương, mình nói con mình nhiều khi mình không biết cái nó lần cuối cùng mình nói chuyện với người này người kia. Mọi chuyện có thể xảy ra vào bất cứ lúc nào. Không, nếu mình thương con, rồi mình thương bố mẹ mình, cho mấy đứa nhỏ nói bố mẹ con thương bố mẹ, con biết bố mẹ giúp con làm con. Không, con mình học giỏi, nó con học giỏi quá, bố mẹ hãnh diện về con này nọ. Nhiều cái, nhiều khi đứa nhỏ nó rất muốn nghe cái câu đó. Nhiều khi nó ác lại không có là big deal, nhưng mà nó rất là muốn nghe bố mẹ nó nói cái câu là hãnh diện về con.
Đúng rồi.
Bố mẹ thường đi khoe cho gia đình biết là hãnh diện về con, nhưng không có nói cho con biết là hãnh diện về con. Bố mẹ hay là gọi thằng con tôi nó học giỏi lắm, nó mới vô đại học này. Không, bây giờ mà lại nói con, trời ơi sao con giỏi quá, con được vô đại học này, con được scholarship này, cái này. Mà thường nói gọi người này người kia khoe về đứa con mình. Nhưng mà cái người mà cần nghe nhiều nhất là cái đứa con mình thôi.
Đúng hả?
Mấy người kia thì thấy con mình học giỏi thì người ta cũng thấy, mình không cần phải khoe. Nhưng mà bố mẹ hay có cái là khoe cho những người khác. Nhưng mình cũng khoe được, nhưng mà mình cho con mình biết. Nhưng cuối cùng nó là cái thằng làm hay là người làm cái đó nó phải là mình đó.
Đúng rồi. Như nói cái câu chuyện mà anh Hưng kể về mẹ anh Hưng làm cho Sean rất là cảm động. Và Sean biết là cũng giống như lúc nãy anh nói đó, chúng ta không có đi ngược về quá khứ để mà thay đổi mọi chuyện được. Chúng ta chỉ có thể làm được những gì ở hiện tại, và điều đó nó sẽ ảnh hưởng đến tương lai. Và Sean tin rằng trong tương lai nếu mà anh Hưng có con cái đó, you're gonna be a great dad.
I hope so.
You will. I know it.
So.
Yeah, I know it. Cảm ơn anh Hưng rất là nhiều nha. Và bây giờ lúc nãy anh Hưng có chia sẻ là anh Hưng là một người huấn luyện cho những con chó ở nhà, cũng như là làm public speaking, đi đến những cái tụ điểm để mà giảng thuyết, nói chuyện cho những bạn trẻ hiểu về cái cuộc sống, cũng như là đừng có get in trouble. Thì bây giờ mà có những người nào, mà những phụ huynh hoặc là khán giả out there mà muốn anh Hưng huấn luyện chó hoặc là nhờ một cái service gì đó, thì liên lạc email như thế nào nào, có thể lặp lại được không?
Đến này email của Hưng là Hưng A số 2 chữ K 2021 @gmail.com, hay là coi trên Facebook là Hưng Nguyễn, hình có con chó Hưng ở đó. Đó là message qua những cái đó.
Okay. Any last word you want to say before we end this show?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me today. I think this is one of the first time I do a Vietnamese talk.
I know, right?
So, and hopefully, just hope that some young people out there that listen to the story, that give them hope, inspire them, whatever situation they're in, just know that it's not the end of the world. And to any parent that listen to the story can understand the kid more. To the kid, they can understand the parent more. For both. So I encourage any parent that have young adult, invite them to listen to the story and ask them how they feel about it. And once again, Sean, thank you for having me.
Awesome.
It's been an honor.
Thank you. Such a great conversation. Thank you so much. And good luck to you, brother.
Thank you.
Good luck in your future.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Cảm ơn tất cả quý vị đã đón xem video ngày hôm nay. Nếu quý vị thích chương trình này, mong là quý vị hãy subscribe, like và share. Và đừng quên xem những video khác của anh em chúng tôi nhé. Và sau cùng, Sơn Lê có một lời kêu gọi đến quý vị. Như quý vị biết đó, mục đích của chương trình chúng ta là chúng ta có thể lắng nghe được nhiều câu chuyện khác nhau. Và qua đó, chúng ta có thể học hỏi, thấu hiểu và có thể cùng nhau xây dựng một cộng đồng ngày càng lớn mạnh. Cho nên nếu như quý vị có những câu chuyện hay và thú vị muốn kể lại cho tất cả mọi người thì mong là quý vị hãy liên lạc với Sơn Lê qua số điện thoại 714 703 6348, 714 703 6348 hoặc là email ngườiviệthảingoại2024@gmail.com. Cảm ơn quý vị rất nhiều đã ủng hộ cho chương trình. Sáng sớm thức dậy thấy đau nhức mình mẩy, mỏi cổ, đau vai, đau buốt thắt lưng. Đó là những dấu hiệu cho biết tấm nệm đã mềm, không còn thích hợp với cơ thể nữa. Kính mời quý khách đến ngay Happy to Easy để mua tấm nệm cứng chống đau lưng. Nơi đây, chúng tôi chuyên bán nệm cao su cứng chống đau lưng cho cộng đồng người Á Châu, những người bị thoái hóa cột sống, lệch đĩa đệm và công việc làm hàng ngày hoặc bị loãng xương vì lớn tuổi. Nệm cao su được sử dụng 100% cao su thiên nhiên. Happy to Easy vừa mới custom 2 mẫu nệm lò xo trong từng túi vải, sử dụng được 2 mặt và được bọc một lớp vải thật mịn màng, mát mẻ. Nệm rất đẹp và sản xuất tại Hoa Kỳ. Chúng tôi có chương trình financing không tiền lời và có free shipping nệm đi khắp 50 tiểu bang. Để có một ngày làm việc đầy năng lượng, vui vẻ, trẻ khỏe, tất cả bắt đầu từ một giấc ngủ. Xin quý vị hãy liên lạc số điện thoại 714 897 6100, 714 487 7889. Kính mời quý cô chú anh chị ghé thăm quán Ông Trẻ tại Houston, Texas. Quán được thiết kế theo phong cách trẻ trung, khang trang và sạch sẽ. Ngoài cà phê và bánh bê nhê trứ danh, menu của quán được bổ sung nhiều thức uống và đồ dessert phong phú và đa dạng, giúp thực khách có thêm nhiều sự lựa chọn. Đặc biệt có món bánh cuốn gia truyền 103 năm, trải dài 4 thế hệ, từ Bắc vô Nam và sang tận đến Hoa Kỳ. Ngoài lợi thế nằm trong khu trung tâm người Việt, không gian của quán còn phù hợp cho mọi lứa tuổi, là nơi lý tưởng để tiếp khách từ phương xa, gặp gỡ gia đình, bạn bè. Không chỉ có khách Việt Nam, quán còn thu hút rất nhiều các sắc dân khác đến thư giãn và gặp gỡ cuối tuần với chương trình nhạc sống, hát cho nhau nghe, rất vui tươi, nhộn nhịp nhưng không kém phần ấm cúng. Quý đồng hương phương xa, nếu có dịp ghé thăm thành phố Houston, Texas, hãy ghé thăm quán Ông Trẻ trong khu Kim Sơn. Cảm ơn sự ủng hộ của tất cả quý vị.
Teletron kính mời quý khách hàng tham gia mua sắm trong cuộc đại hạ giá và nhạc hội Hoa Anh Đào hoàn toàn miễn phí được tổ chức tại Teletron Eden Center, Washington DC trong suốt 2 ngày, thứ Bảy 29 và Chủ nhật 30 tháng 3, quy tụ nhiều ca nghệ sĩ nổi tiếng: Lương Tùng Quang, Diễm Liên, Tuấn Vũ, Phương Hồng Quế, Sĩ Đan, Thanh Tuyền, Ngọc Huyền, Sheila, Chế Phong, Bảo Ngọc, Tuấn Quỳnh, Đỗ Tiên Dung, Kỳ Phương Uyên, Nguyễn Tiến Dũng, MC Nam Lộc, Giá Ngọc, ban nhạc Hoàng Nghĩa.
Nhiều sản phẩm tốt nhất được bán với giá rẻ nhất, tặng thêm quà giá trị và trả góp không tính tiền lời.
35% tổ yến trưng với đông trùng hạ thảo, một hộp 6 hũ chỉ 84 đồng. Fucodan đại hàn tinh chất 180 đồng một hũ, mua 3 tặng 3. Nồi cơm điện 10 cấp Tiger làm tại Nhật chỉ có 98 đồng.
Ghế massage Sinca JP 3000, trí tuệ nhân tạo AI 5D, Made in Japan, 5 năm warranty, sale 7.999 đồng.
Đặc biệt, ghế massage Oko MA Made in Japan, 2 cánh tay mở đóng như cửa xe hơi, giá 14.000, sale 7.999 đồng.
Số lượng rất giới hạn, đến trước mua trước.
Nệm cứng chống đau lưng Italy, sale 50% off chỉ 999 đồng.
Ghế massage toàn thân 4D Panasonic on sale nửa giá chỉ 4.999 đô la.
Mua giường trị liệu massage nhiệt Master V6 Made in Korea, giá 8.000 đồng, sale 6.599 đồng, được tặng mỹ phẩm Hàn Quốc.
Thảm đá nhiệt Seratonic Made in Korea, giá 1.000, sale 699 đồng.
Mặt nạ trị liệu và dưỡng da cao cấp cấp Cell Return Platinum MD Made in Korea do tài tử Nam Hàn Lee Min Ho giới thiệu, giá 2.800 đồng, sale 1.599 đồng.
Nệm cứng chống đau lưng Amante Italy Queen Size, sale 4.699 đồng, mua lại nệm cũ 500 đồng.
Nón mọc tóc Made in Korea, giá 2.500 đồng, sale 1.599 đồng.
Mua cùng lúc hai thiết bị y khoa thẩm mỹ Avology Ineo Totale và Lamnen Laser Made in Israel, giúp xóa nám, giảm nhăn, căng da mặt, nâng cơ và chống chảy xệ. Lifetime Warranty, giá 30.700, sale đặc biệt 8.298 đồng, được tặng quà trị giá 1.800 đô la.
Máy rung tan mỡ giảm cân Dr. Fuji, giá 5.000 bớt 1.000 đồng.
Nệm cứng rộng vàng chống đau lưng cao cấp Luxury Dragon Italy, được bớt 5.000 đồng, mua lại nệm cũ 1.000 đô la.
Mua ghế massage Decor 2 Made in Japan với kỹ thuật trị liệu tân tiến nhất, giá 17.000, sale 15.000. Hay ghế massage MA LE Neo là The Best Luxury Medical Chair Made in Japan, 17.000 đồng, được tặng thêm thiết bị Light Therapy Ineo Totale trị giá 11.950 đồng.
Ghế massage Cyber Relax AI 5D trí tuệ nhân tạo Made in Japan JP 4000 Modo 2025, giá 14.000, sale 10.999 đồng.
Đặc biệt, ghế massage Oko MA Made in Japan, hai cánh tay mở đóng như cửa xe hơi, giá 14.000, sale 7.999 đồng.
Mua sofa, bàn ăn mặt đá cẩm thạch Italy, sale đến 35% off, được tặng nệm cứng chống đau lưng Italy.
Hãy tham gia mua sắm trong cuộc đại hạ giá tại Teletron và chung vui với các ca nghệ sĩ trong nhạc hội Hoa Anh Đào vô cùng đặc sắc, hoàn toàn miễn phí trong suốt 2 ngày, thứ Bảy 29 và Chủ nhật 30 tháng 3 tại Teletron Eden Center, Washington DC. Điện thoại 703 237 8999, 703 237 8999, trang nhà teletronusa.com.